Hello and welcome to State of the Heart, episode number 6. I'm joined, as always, by my dear co-host, WaterKH, and we're here to talk today a little bit about... I think today we'll talk about kind of our expectations for the upcoming anniversary. So we're recording this on the 26th of March, 2025, in the evening, if you must know, Australian/New Zealand time. And yeah, we're going to have a little chat. But Water, do you want to say anything first before we launch into anything?
No. I don't think so. It's nice to get back into the flow of doing this more regularly, though.
I think so.
It's just nice to be able to talk about, I don't know, Kingdom Hearts. And, yeah.
It's fun. Yeah, it is really fun. I don't know, like, even though there is this quote-unquote, not a ton of news happening right now, I still feel like that excitement's back in the air. It's like, Christmas is coming up around the corner. The holidays are almost here, and we're going to get fed real good real soon. That's the feeling I get, anyway.
We're going to get Missing Link in winter, right?
Our winter, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, American summer, as the hope was that. Okay, maybe it's being misquoted or overly blown out, but the hope was that it would be released when it was warm outside to play, which I think tracks perfectly with. You make a game, you want it to, do well. You don't release it when it's winter outside, so that no one gets a chance to form habits and play it. But we went over that to death in the last one, but yeah, so I've got the anniversary site for, I guess, for people that don't know. Kingdom Hearts 1 was released on the 28th of March, 2002 in Japan, and obviously quite a little bit later for the North American and the rest of the world audiences. But they held the 20th anniversary event on the 10th of April, so the 10th of the 4th month, for those that want to go into the Kingdom Hearts symbolism of what 104 could represent and does, I suppose, represent in the series.
Oh, I didn't even realize. That's funny.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like,
I think he mentioned that
building.
Even, like, yeah, and I was like, oh, that's funny that he mentioned that. I know what that building
Why did he
is.
mention that? Yeah, the obviously we've seen
And
the
it's also
104
on the
building.
Hikari, whatever, building.
Yeah.
Is that's the new one, right? That they were building that's like in Verum Rex or whatever, right?
Yeah, so
or Quadratum.
Yeah, the 3 DLC, and obviously, the Verum Rex video game and the trailer for it. I don't believe it was complete. No, I could be really wrong on this. By the time that Kingdom Hearts 3 was actually finished, it's one of the first videos I made where I kind of like started digging into it. Of like everyone seemed to just on Twitter, it was just accepted that the Master of Masters, he's standing on the Square Enix building at the end. I'm like,
yeah, I remember this.
Is that even? I don't know why I just accepted that as well. And then I was like, wait. Like I started like flying around on Google Earth. I'm like, no, he's not. He's right there.
Yeah.
So it's one of the first videos I made where I'm like, anyway. So yeah, he's on the.
Because it was like the Master of Masters with Sora, and then Riku was with Yozora, right? Like
over in Shinjuku, underneath like the Tokyo government metropolitan building, was where Yozora and he was on the rooftop of that.
I always associated that building as well to Final Fantasy 15.
100%.
At the end, it's like
It's the Royal Palace is based on that building. I think it's like 4 instead of just the 2, which is the real one. But 4 columns, I guess you want to call it. But yeah,
spires. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, so good. I'm glad we had a little bit of history on that. But yeah, so I've just got the website up again here now. It's if you haven't actually been on it yourself, I definitely think it's worth
which I didn't.
Yeah, it's worth a cruise. It's got some really cool like kind of the memorabilia that was on display there at the time, for the actual in-person event.
This would have been so cool to see. Like even that first image you showed, like just like the script of it is just. It's like, man, they actually had the script there, and like everyone signed it. And
it's very cool.
It's so cool.
No, it's really really special. Yeah, I would have loved to have attended in person, but. So there was the obviously like kind of museum-ish aspects of it, if you will, but there was also obviously the actual event itself held in the theater, let's call it, that was then rebroadcast later to the rest of the world, which was hungrily hearing news about this Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer that was coming out. And so at that 20th anniversary event, which was roughly 2 weeks after the actual anniversary, is where the world heard about. Well, we got 3 things in that event, right? We got the Dark Road finale being confirmed to have like an updated release date. Missing Link talked about, and then Kingdom Hearts 4 kind of revealed all at the same time for that one video.
Right.
And
which is
go on.
crazy to think about. That was like you're saying it's like 3 years ago. I was like, nah, it's not 3 years ago.
And that was 3 years ago. Yeah,
And then
exactly.
it's 3 years ago coming in April. I was like, there is no way it's been 3 years since we've heard about Kingdom Hearts 4. It just feels like it was like last year or the year before. Which is
Unfortunately,
funny because it sounds like everybody. But it sounds like yeah, everyone. I don't know. Like to me, it doesn't feel like 3 years. Like it feels so quick, and to everyone else, it sounds like it was not that quick.
it's the cruel realities of the passing of time, I'm afraid. But yeah, I suppose again, we sort of talked about it quite a lot last time. But like, as someone that, I mean, maybe it's my age, maybe it's just I feel like so many things are going on in my life, but I want, make no mistake, I very much would like Missing Link and Kingdom Hearts 4 to come out, and a million more projects forever and ever, a million years Kingdom Hearts. But I guess I'm just like at the point where I even made a chart because people were like in the comments. I don't really even inherently disagree with them. Like I know the fever of wanting Kingdom Hearts content, but I'm just like, I did the math. I laid everything out. And I was like, am I insane here? And I don't think I am, because Kingdom Hearts 3 was, and obviously we were waiting for it for a long time. Kingdom Hearts 3 was announced at the E3 event, so that's June of 2013. We hadn't yet in English got the remixes at that point, so I'll even give you that since then, the 1.5 remix came out on PS3, then 2.5 in 2014. Key was renamed to Unchained Key, and that was released in both Japan and then English in 2015. I think.
Oh, that was a new game though. I remember downloading that at my university. Like,
yeah,
I was in like a class and I was like, "Oh, bro, I'm gonna play this Kingdom Hearts game."
Probably had a similar story. I was in my library, I think, we're watching it download, watching Unchained Key download, but like, obviously that was spun off. It was based off of Key, which was released in 2013.
Only on like Japanese websites, right?
You could only play it on your web browser and only in Japan. Yeah. So, well, I mean, you could play it in English. You could play it in the rest of the world. Like, I was playing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you just have to make a Japanese Yahoo account. So I joined for the second anniversary, but I couldn't.
Okay.
I didn't really
speak Japanese.
understand anything apart from I was a key kid. There was a bunch of these anniversary events, guys running around. It was actually the Moogle of Glory event, I believe, is what I was playing.
Oh, funny.
You had to like grind out materials to like you got the Keyblade really easily, but then to like grind materials to upgrade it, that was was the event I was trying to play. So there'd be all these like event enemies scattered around the map, but I couldn't touch them. I was this level 1 character and I wasn't, paying for cards. So I could barely understand anything. So like played for maybe that week and then kind of dropped off it. But
right.
Yeah. Then it gets released to the rest of the world, Japan and the rest of the world as Unchained Key in 2015, and then Japan early 2016 for English. Then in 2017 we get the 2.8 collection, and then I'm like, all right, I'll give you that Unchained gets its massive update to Union Cross also in 2017. We also get the 1.5 and 2.5 HD collection on the PS4, as well as that followed up. Well, that was with the 2.8 collection at a pretty similar amount of time. But I don't know, all these people thinking that we got fed and got yearly releases, I just don't think I can agree with you. And again, I was there. I think being probably a little bit older, I'm going through me telling you now, it's not been that bad. If you were trying to tell me that to the guy waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3, I would have ripped your throat. I was like, no, I'm up every year watching every E3 waiting for just a sniff, just a sniff of news. Please give me something. And
that's only 5.5 years
for that period from the announcement to the actual release of the game. Yeah, but it's also like we knew it was coming beforehand. Like DDD ends and they're all walking. There's this golden square as Sora and Riku are walking towards it, and the silhouettes form a 3. Even the fact that like Kingdom Hearts 2 ends with a letter being given saying like, well, I'll see you on your next adventure. And it's like, even if you know that Birth by Sleep was the next game and then RE Coded was the proper sequel to that and DDD was the proper sequel to that, it's like you were still waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3. Like you knew it was building to the next big one was going to be. So it's like, even if I generously give you that the start of the wait was 2013, which I don't really, but let's give it to you for sake of argument.
Yeah.
Like I get it. I get the hunger for it. I promise you I do. But I think we're being a little selective with our memory right now. It's like, again, since that we've had DLC for it in the form of Remind for 3. All of Dark
Oh
Road has
yeah,
come
yeah.
and gone. Melody Memory's come and gone. Union Cross got its finale. And it was released on PC for the first time. And like, to me, that's pretty equivalent. Like a PC release that a lot of people have been waiting for a long time, even if it wasn't Steam. Steam came later, but
It was pretty quick though as well. Yeah.
people wanted it on PC. They finally got it. Like it was a nice sign that, along with Rebirth remake that, and eventually 16, that Square Enix was sort of opening the doors that they hadn't really opened before. It felt like, and the content was kind of being pushed to other platforms. Like, I don't know. I just feel like it's pretty comparable what we're going through right now. Like we've had these alternate re-releases, we've had pretty big mobile game updates, and I'm counting the
Yeah.
betas as three separate things, which maybe that's not fair on my part, but it's more just for like, I guess
Yeah, I
some
think
people don't.
betas would be unfair to add because I'm sure there's beta periods for like key and stuff, right? Or
Sure,
was there
no,
not?
yeah, I don't think like publicly in the same way, and
Yeah.
then you
But
would
even if
argue,
you
well,
remove those, like, what? That's a year and some change, or a year and a half, or maybe 2 years, I guess, between Dark Road and Steam releases. But even that's like, I don't know, that's not that long.
yeah, I guess I'm just like, the way that some people are describing it as if it's complete radio silence and we've heard nothing from them and how dare they be holding it to us. I'm like, maybe I'm being a little bit hyperbolic here, but I have seen that kind of vitriol at the moment. I'm like, I just don't think we're there yet. Like we're at the pitchforks ready to burn the place down. It's like, I think we can give them a
Right.
little bit of time. Again, to my understanding, felt like Missing Link was kind of ready to go a few months ago, and just because of literally the weather,
Mm.
I think is why they held off. Like I feel like it was kind of ready, but that's
Right, right.
kind of neither here nor there. But at least, well,
Well, I'm sure, yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's some other, like, factors, like, I don't know, being in, maybe we can touch on this later, but like being like in the computer science field, if you know, because I know, right, Union Cross was definitely data mined. There's a whole bunch of stuff that people got access to when they shouldn't have. If that's occurring with like Missing Link, as like, I blocked all those words on Twitter, but like, you hear it down the grapevine that there's stuff happening. So it's like, I'm sure if they're aware of that, they're probably going to try to either one, bolster their security and like patch all that stuff, or just like increase logging and like increase visibility on like who's accessing so that they can like do like batch bans on IP and stuff like that later down the line. That would be my 2 cents on that.
as
Why they
someone
like push that.
directly working in the field and not just going off vibes, yeah,
Yeah, no, exactly.
it does feel
So
like on one part I feel like kind of hypocritical about it because it's like, especially when I was starting, I would see these Union Cross updates and I'm like, as a player of the game, going, do I, spend jewels on this medal that could literally be replaced tomorrow by a superior version of it? It's like, oh, hey, this data mine exists, and it's basically showing us like, okay, well, there's a reverse power medal in the shop right now, but there's another one coming next week, and this game doesn't go backwards. It's probably going to be even better, so maybe I'll just hold off.
right. Yeah,
And obviously that's once we'd caught up to JP. For a while, the roadmap was just look at whatever JP's doing, and we just we don't spend. Kyrie's next month. Just save up for her, easy. Like, oh, there's Shion, so save up for
yeah.
But then I don't know. I almost feel like once people like this idiot here started making videos on, hey, JP's right there. We can. They seem to think we can't see it. We can see it, and we know that like, well, this is not. So they're like, okay. They didn't catch us up on the story, but they caught us up on the content so that we didn't have that advantage anymore. I'm like, yeah, no, we see that. Thank you, guys. I mean, I can't blame them because it's like, they're literally their money. Right, but... So again, I do feel kind of hypocritical of like... Right now, I don't think... I'm almost like double hypocritical because I think we can be adults here, and I can say that I know of like at least 4 people, I think, at this point, that have independently found the same things that are now being posted publicly on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
The difference being, and maybe this is just wrong. You tell me. Everyone sort of knew, for the most part, to just shut up because it doesn't really benefit. I mean, at minimum, there's like a meeting happening, right? And they're going like, "Hey, this is out there. Do we need to change?" Like, I don't think it gets the game out any faster. I think if anything, it potentially gets it out slower. I mean, you tell me if I'm completely crazy about this or not.
No, I agree with that sentiment.
Yeah. So
Well, right, because if you're seeing them already leaking stuff,
right,
it's not even fully released. You're like, oh well, rather than releasing it, we can just patch some exploits or like redirect things or put more security on things. Like, yes, there's always going to be an avenue. I guess speaking as someone, right? If we're big adults here, like, you know, there are I enjoy going through stuff like that, but like I do it more for the process and not the content because it's like I like to systematically break down things and figure out how things work, but it's like I'm not going to spoil myself on this amazing story and this amazing content that the developers have been working on for like years at this point.
yeah,
Like I've learned that over time because like with Union Cross and stuff, right? I was pretty deep in that, you know, looking at all the medals, seeing what was new, and it's like, oh, I learned from that experience. Like, oh, when the medal actually came out in the game with all the, like the all the effects and stuff, I was like, oh, it didn't mean as much because I already knew it was coming. But it's like, I've learned a lot since then. It's like, well, why would I want to ruin that experience of the story or some new cool metal art by like just looking at it before it's even ready? So
yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
But then I suppose the viewer's argument would be like, well, then who the hell are you to decide that? Like, especially again, if someone hypothetically like me has seen some stuff, then it's like, oh, well, you got to make your own decision. And I agree, you got to make your own decision on that. Shouldn't I get the same right? And it's like obviously, yes, I think you should, but it's like the more this is like a massively publicly, it's not quiet, but it's almost like you're rubbing it in Square Enix's face as being so public about it, right? It's like, hey, check this. Like they know. Guess what? They know that this is happening.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 100,000% they know that this is
Yeah.
happening.
So
Like, yeah.
I don't know. That just it's kind of again maybe I'm hypocritical because I feel like once the game is out, I probably am gonna want to know, and it will be like super readily available, like and everyone. I don't think we're in,
Yeah.
again if we can be adults and we can think yeah it's probably gonna be friggin' everywhere. So I'm sure I'll take a peek. Maybe even like content wise take a peek at that point. I don't know. I think the vibe from everyone was to just hold your horses until the game at least came out so they can have their proper reveal and there's no I think it's the lead up to Kingdom Hearts 3. This is the other thing where like the people are kind of going on about the radio silence being a bad thing. I'm like, I love
You're just
this.
complaining about it.
I love this. Like when we
Yeah,
all just
yeah.
complaining that 3 ruined everything with all its trailers, like nothing there was nothing new. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
there was like the Verum Rex stuff. That
Yeah,
was basically it. They showed off Scala, they showed off the Final World, they showed off every single Disney World, they showed off the Dark World, they showed off that it was Sora fighting Aqua in the Dark World, they showed off
Yeah.
everything. They showed off absolutely friggin' everything in that game, and I'm like, I don't want to. Like, I know it's not how marketing works. I don't want any trailer. Just put the game. That's never going to happen, and I shouldn't.
Yeah.
I shouldn't get that either because other people need to be convinced to buy this. You've already sold me. I'm going to get a copy, but like,
Well, I think, yeah.
put out 3 trailers and don't show it. I don't know. I mean, it's not how that works. Like, you need to entice people in via like, hey, check out all these different Disney worlds that you like. You'll like at least one of them. If we show them all to you, you'll buy the game eventually. Like, oh, you like blah 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 blah. Here's this Pixar movie. Here's this blah 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 blah. Like,
Right.
you need to show that off. I fundamentally get that, but also I'm like, I just don't want to. Yeah, I'm kind of torn.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's totally fair. I think, yeah, well, I think, right, going back to what you're saying about, like, people want to make their own decisions. I think that's totally fair. But I think there has to be some, like, if you, I don't know, it's like, I don't want to, like, compare people to children, but it's like, if you put a bowl of, like, delicious ice cream on the bench in front of a kid and put, like, greens next to it, I'm sure 10 out of 10 times people are going to go for the ice cream. That's just, you want the nice thing. But, as you grow older, you're like, oh, well, actually, I know, like, the green broccoli is actually more beneficial for me in the long run.
My bones
It's
hurt
like,
and my teeth hurt. I shouldn't eat the ice cream.
yeah. Like, I think there's some point, and everyone has to make the decision for themselves, right? Like, there are beneficial things to do that aren't fun and, delay gratification. But it's like, oh, well, I know it's going to be better for me in the long run. And I think it's just like a lesson that I learned with like, content like data mining and stuff. It's like, it's so exciting being in the moment and like
Mm.
discovering all these new things and being like, oh, I'm the only person that knows this, or like I'm the only person that has access to this, or like, you know, I'm part of this elite group that has access to it. But then like you kind of take a step back and you're like, huh, I played, you know, Kingdom Hearts 3 or Melody of Memory, but I knew everything already. So like now I'm complaining because like, oh, they didn't have enough new stuff in there, and it's like, well, you did it to yourself because like they had this whole sequence of events playing out, but you wanted to spoil yourself early,
Mm.
and so you really only have yourself to blame. So like, yes, I agree that people should be able to make their own decisions, but I feel like Square Enix can also, you know, have the right to lock down as much as possible, even if that means like delaying it to put in more security measures or anything. But like, they kind of have almost to protect people from themselves, right?
Mm.
That's my interpretation, at least, of it.
I mean, it should ultimately fall on them as their decision of how they want to roll this thing out. Like, if you have a trailer in
Yeah.
mind, you have a release schedule that you want to. Like, I've even seen people saying now that, like, oh, they need to respond to this. Like, no. I'm sorry, that's not how this. You don't just respond to every leak. Oh, no, I guess we're forced to put out the content now because it's people are already. No. What does that encourage apart from every time there's a leak? Oh, I guess that means that their own product is being dictated. The reveal of their own product is being dictated on the hands of, like, people that are spoiling their stuff publicly. Like, that's never ever going to happen. But I don't think most people, you know, agree with that sentiment. Just I've seen it being floating around. Just that I don't know. Again,
Yeah.
I guess I'm sort of like, again, feeling hypocritical, but also feeling like I really wish, I really think that it's not no one actually is benefiting from the fact this is being talked about right now. Even if you think, oh, I'm getting little hints and teasers and stuff, like, great. I think the game is being minimum delayed as a result of this. Even if not right now, like going forward in the future, they're probably thinking of it like there's some things we need to change to not have this happen again. And I don't know. Again, maybe I'm just being overly sensitive for the release of the game because guess what? Like, stuff has happened before. Like,
Yeah.
Melody Memories logo being leaked.
Yeah.
th-
I remember
there
that.
were things in the pipeline, cough, 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 that were happening for like other Kingdom Hearts titles that were just like cancelled, immediately cancelled, like, and I
I don't
don't
know
know
if
if
I remember that.
well, I
Yeah.
haven't really talked about it, but there was some stuff for Dark Road that was supposed to happen before the release date was actually had come out,
Ah, okay.
and I feel like I can probably talk about this now. It's been a few years, but the second that logo came out, boom, gone.
Ooh.
That's cancel all that stuff. Like,
Ah.
it just once things are out of their control, I don't know. It doesn't really benefit anyone the way they think it's going to benefit. I don't know. It's like the Monsters Inc. trailer, right? Like, that came out, but a little while beforehand, there was all these Kingdom Hearts 3 images of Monsters Inc. with all this, you know, dev data all over them. And it's like, oh, okay, Monsters Inc. confirmed. Like, here's Sora in his monster form and Donald Goofy, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. It's like, it's kind of to your point, that the impact of that was severely lessened. But
Yeah. Yeah.
even removed from that, I feel like behind the scenes, this does not really benefit the game right now to be kind of
Well,
making this
yeah.
stuff early. But
Well, even as like a developer myself, right? Like, if and this is different, right? Because I'm in business, that's in like art and gameplay. But like, if I had like this really cool art piece to share or something, and then like people were like getting their hands on it and then like releasing it, one, it's like, well, okay, that's like an invasion of my privacy, and two, it's like, well, now I don't really even feel like sharing it because now you've gone and shared it, and I don't get to dictate how I release it, like how I tease it and how I like roll it out. Like it takes away the creative process behind like there's a way they want to specifically do it, and now that's just been taken from them, and it's like you didn't really have a right to do that. Like
taking
I
the
don't
wind out of
know.
the sails, a lot of the
Yeah,
and
well, yeah, exactly. Like it's not gonna. As for me as a creator, it's like, well, I'm not gonna want to keep doing that, right? Like
yeah.
it's just like a that's not fun.
I mean, it
Yeah.
was the interview last time around, right? Like that. Maybe I'm misquoting here, but I do feel like I remember an interview saying that, you know, Tetsuya Nomura was personally like saddened by seeing the leaks that happened, and there was that message right before the release of Kingdom Hearts 3 when all those physical copies were
Yeah.
out there. He's like, I'm disappointed,
Yeah.
but I hope we all just kind of try and avoid the leaks and then enjoy the full game when it does eventually come out.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I forgot about that.
um,
But yeah, no, they
yeah,
know about it and it affects them. And I feel like people don't have the empathy there sometimes to like think about, oh, this, Tetsuya Nomura, like this person I like idolize, I'm actually damaging
Actively hurting
his
them. Yeah.
his mental health because of my actions. And I think it's easy for people to get kind of swept up in the hype and I'm not faulting anybody. Like, again, I was part of that culture for a little bit as well. But it's like once you take a step and reflect on it, it's like, oh well, I could be doing something else with my time to fill in this wait time rather than seeking out leaks. Like, it's a really difficult like thing to come to or like recognize. But once you do, I think it makes it a little bit easier to kind of give them time, find other things to do with your time. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Again, it's also easy
I'm
to
not
be
saying it's
sitting
easy.
here.
Yeah.
It's easy to be sitting here on this side of it, going like, "Why don't we all chill out?" Knowing that, like, knowing myself in the lead up to 3, I would have been ravenous, like just ravenous for anything I get my hands on. So like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
totally.
What?
But also, it's like that was like what, 6 years ago, a little
Yeah.
bit, seven, 8, and it's like I was a kid back then. Like,
Right.
I didn't know better. Like,
It's
I was
probably
just really excited. Like, there's a different kind of perspective you have on it now.
yeah. I mean, it's probably the same age a lot of these people are now, if not even younger, to be honest. That are like going through, experiencing the same emotions that we did back then, and
Right? Yeah. Yeah, and
going,
it's
well,
like
but I
I
want to see
totally
this
understand
stuff.
that.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's hard to fault it, but yeah, at least the spreading of it is more what I'm, because I understand the seeking part.
Yeah.
It's more that it's the publicly, again, not intending this, but kind of rubbing it in their faces of what you're showing off and be like, I'll decide what's spoilery or not. It's like, I'm sorry, but none of this is meant to be shared, and it's not right to be doing it. Whatever you think about it or not, whether you think it's not too bad, like, the line is not yours to decide, I suppose.
Yeah.
And again, it's like, without getting too deliberately into it, but like there were things off the bat that were said that like that was a story reveal, like that was a story reveal to be like, and that the emphasis of that is gone now to those that have seen it, and other things as well. Like I think there's one that's still up, like the voices speaking in the opening cutscene. Why do you think the faces haven't been shown? Like there was reasons why certain things haven't been shown, and I don't know. Again, maybe I'm being overly.
Yeah, you're speaking to a wall here because I
Yeah,
I have
no,
locked down my Twitter and
that's
my
fine. That's
every
fine. I
feed
mean,
I
the people
have.
that know kind of
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I'm getting at
exactly.
here. But
But I do think that's also an option for people that don't want to like get spoiled. Is
sure,
there are options
sure,
because as
sure.
someone that like I'm online quite a lot, but you can curate and, like block words or mute words. So like there are options, but again, like I shouldn't have to resort to that. Like there should be some I don't know, self-control in the community. I'm not calling anybody out, but it's like, everybody's like looking forward to leaks and stuff. And it's like, I feel like as a community, we should really try and like honor the devs' wishes as best as we can. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Again, I don't know why. My feeling is that at least until release, and maybe I'm being like a total hypocrite because they don't want it ever, right? They never really want
Yeah.
you. Just the way that I don't know, like Ever Crisis is also a Square Enix mobile game,
Mhm.
and it's pretty public knowledge that gets like data mined constantly, and like upcoming content gets found out, whatever. But I think most people
Right.
don't really care for the story of that game. Like it's kind of right now divided into like multiple parts. It's like it's retelling the original FF7 story, the Crisis Core story, and it's also got new content like the Ever Crisis content that it's creating. But I don't think. I'm sure there are people that are interested in the story of it. I'm positive there are. And again, I'd be a total hypocrite to write that off as stupid mobile game lore, as like hello.
Right. Yeah.
And one day I actually want to get into it. Like I've started Ever Crisis file. We talked about it last time. Just I haven't played probably since then, but I've started a file so that eventually, if I want to get that lore, I can get that lore.
Yeah.
But the data mines seem mostly like gameplay related, or like here's an upcoming costume or weapon, whatever. So it's like that seems to be the focus of most people's like interest in the data mine, whereas this is like plot stuff coming out. I think to me crosses a line.
Yeah.
And again,
Yeah.
the people's response I already know is going to be he didn't even show off that much. And it's like, yeah, but he was. It's hard to say he was going to, but I think he was going to continue based on what he already did. And I've never even said this, but like, I don't think he might have even realized that he did actually kind of spoil something pretty big. and I'm not
Right.
even going to elaborate on that, but just to not even give people a clue. But
It's getting
there
a little
was
nervous
something
there.
that I don't think intended to, that actually was kind of a pretty big spoiler.
Right,
Which
right.
again, I'm not even going to elaborate on that at all. But it's kind of, again, it's like, I didn't know. Well, right, maybe the decision shouldn't be in your hands then. I guess is kind of where I'm coming from. Uh, that it
Right.
again, not to be like a
Uh,
company boot licking, but at least until release, I'm like, hey, can we all just chill out on this, maybe?
yeah. I think it's difficult, right? You're I get where you're coming from. I also can understand being a fan and being in that state of mind and being like, I really am excited to share this with everyone. And like, I don't like from my perspective, this isn't gonna spoil anything, and then sharing that and then being like, oh, actually, I had a lapse in judgment. Like, I'm not trying to defend anybody. I'm just saying, like, I can understand the thought process behind it. Even if that wasn't his thought process, I can just from my own self thinking about like, oh, I really want to share this thing, and then sharing it, being like, oh, that's not what I intended. Like I can see it from that perspective.
Sure.
Um,
I guess the
so
counter argument would
yeah,
be, lots of us have felt like I would love to share this thing, um,
mm,
and have basically all except for like one person have all kind of just not. Like we've had enough restraint to just feel like, I know this would garner a ton of attention. I know it would. It is
right,
tempting as someone like a content creator, but it still shouldn't be. Again, not even naming names, because I know like several different people that have independently found this all on their own and have messaged me, be like, hey, check this thing out I found. I'm like, yeah, yep. It's yeah, no,
right,
yeah. And then everyone's kind of been like, cool, and they just enjoy it for themselves, and then
yeah,
it's like, yeah, I guess what, every single person has probably wanted to do the same thing, and I know one person did, and so I actually had a talk with that person, and it was like, uh, you know, I think you got a couple of facts wrong here, and that person was like,
hmm
oh, okay, and I think that sort of stopped them from, I don't know, it, I didn't, it was kind of the decision of what they wanted to do with that information, but kind
hmm
of didn't post any more after that. So,
right,
um, I don't know. Again, not
yeah,
it's ultimately their decision. If they want to say they're not going to do anything that would hurt their relationship with Square, part of me kind of goes, okay, because I think that bridge might already be burnt. But I'm really probably talking out of school here. It's not like I truly, truly don't know anything in that regard. It just seems like, from what I do understand, the line has probably already been crossed. Just knowing what I know
yeah.
about their culture. So again, not knowing shit, but I mean, again, make your own
Right.
decision. I chose not to. Most of us chose not to, but whatever.
Yeah. I think it's difficult to say, right? I and I can only speak from my like experience, right? Like I know as a developer, all of that data, I don't know where they're hosting it. I don't know who's hosting it. I can take a guess. AWS is pretty common to be used as hosting, um, but I can't like confirm. I've seen the URLs. I've tried to like look at, what potentially could be hosting it. But if it's AWS, I work with AWS quite a lot, and you just have mountains and mountains of logs. Like there is probably a very slim chance that any of these data leaks or whatever has gone unnoticed. So I don't know. if
Yeah,
you've been like part of even clicking the link or the link being shared to you, like there's some tracking for most everything nowadays. So it's like if you have that, they have most of, or you have to access it probably to get a lot of device information. But it's like, they could do IP bans, they could do MAC address bans, they could probably do like once the game comes out ID bans and stuff. Like, not saying that they would, but I'm saying they have that capability and they have the visibility on all that tracking. It's like I feel like people that were like in the Union Cross era of like data mining, I wasn't like super in the know on all that stuff. I was like actively kept in the not know. But it was like I'm sure they learned a lot through that process, and I'm sure they're gonna probably use a lot of that knowledge to help keep their new updates and stuff hopefully more secret.
mm.
But yeah,
I think, I
I
mean,
don't
but
know.
maybe I'm wrong about this, but from what I understood, it was like, I mean, the beta has literally been distributed to all the beta testers' phones, right? So it's like,
hmm
it, you know, the app
I don't
exists on a lot
know.
of people's
Yeah.
phones and has just been able to be cracked into. I think is what the
Right.
the current state of that is. Like the things that are coming out now. Again, it could have come
Mm.
out, maybe did, anytime in the last almost 12 months, and it's just like someone has given it to this other, has found it for themselves in the last few weeks, given it to a person with a megaphone, who is now blasting it all over the internet. Like I think that's what's happening as of right now. Like
Right.
it's not anything that wasn't in the original beta that's kind of being talked about now. Um,
Gotcha. Gotcha.
to my understanding. Cough.
Mm.
Um, anyway, I wasn't
Was a
sure.
little bit of a tangent.
Yeah, little half hour, nice sort of walk around. But yeah, I was kind of thinking that. So we sort of talked about the anniversary event, and I was thinking that obviously, yeah, again, the anniversary proper is in a couple days.
Mm.
But this event at the held on 10/4 was a few weeks later.
Tenfold.
So 2 weeks later, I almost wonder if like maybe we'll see some sort of like acknowledgement on the 28th. But I almost wonder if we'll get like more of. To me, I feel like Missing Link is definitely coming like this summer, if not earlier. So
Yeah. Okay.
I would. Does it almost make more sense to like talk about it again, show off either another trailer or like open up pre-registrations again or something on the 3-year anniversary of this 20th anniversary, or do you just do it on the actual Kingdom Hearts anniversary? I mean, maybe just keeping hoping alive if we don't see anything on the 28th. But to me, it's almost
Right.
like maybe it makes more sense to follow up Missing Link on the day you first announce it. I don't know.
I would think. Actually, first a question. Does Crisis Core have like separated Japanese and English or North American releases, or is it all like one
So
update?
any content that's voiced is only voiced in Japanese, but I believe, now correct me
Mm.
if I'm wrong, I believe all the content drops simultaneously in English and Japanese, or at least on the same day.
Okay.
Like new weapons, new armor, costumes rather, new event quests, blah 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 blah. I believe come to both versions on the same day. It's just UI is translated into English, but the voices never are. It's only ever in Japanese.
Oh, okay. Well, so that's a difference, right? Like, I would have said, oh well, the Square Enix studio would publish, right? Near or around the anniversary date, and then the rest of the world would get it like start of summer or like midsummer or something like that. But if they're already have the track record of like releasing at the same time, I assume they'd try to like coincide, probably start of summer, right when school gets out or something, just because of the weather, if it's a weather thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the company has learnt that over the last few years that like it's impossible to escape the fact that it's such a global community nowadays that you kind of
Mm,
really don't do yourself any favors by releasing in Japanese first and then English a few months later. It's like
yeah.
you can tell they wanted to catch us up in Union Cross story wise because like
hmm
I don't know anyone that cared about it, boy, you had a task ahead of you trying to stay spoiler free. Like if you cared about it at all, someone was talking about oh hell Elrena exists. Check out this character called Elrena. It's like seeing somebody. It's just been revealed in Union
Oh
Cross.
yeah.
Like and
Yeah.
then that was pre Kingdom Hearts 3 that came out, but then it was like 4 months
hmm
after Kingdom Hearts 3 that the English audience finally got it after the
Yeah.
Japanese release.
Yeah.
So it's like
That's right.
they were gradually trying to catch us up. Actually, I'll
hmm
pull up in the spreadsheet for it because a person called Spin Dash was able to capture this. But um,
Well, I was thinking also while you're looking that up, like if it's Japanese voiced and English voiced, I could see why they would like how they couldn't keep up the same schedule. Because right, I'm sure they're going to be doing like consistent voice lines, unless they're just going to all like they already have the story done and they're just going to voice it all now. In which case they could just do like rolling releases every month or so. But I find that hard to believe. But then even getting like the English voice and the Japanese voice and whatever other language they're doing it in, I feel like that'd be really hard to keep consistent on a global timeline. Because then like what if the English gets delayed for the voice acting by a couple weeks, then your whole release cycle is off by a couple weeks. I
I
don't
mean, all
know.
the
It's
answer
got,
is you just do what Ever Crisis does, and you just only put it in Japanese, and you say sorry. Like we're not doing it in English.
oh, that would be interesting. And they
I mean,
just do the
that's what Ever
subtitles.
Crisis has done. You know, they have obviously an English voice
Oh,
cast
okay.
working on remake and rebirth. Don't
Right,
exist.
right.
All the story, all the combat, it's all in Japanese. All the voices, all voice acting, it's all in Japanese. Um,
Oh, that's very interesting.
I mean, I did notice there was an option, and this is me being insane. Um, I did notice there was an option to like, you know, it's typical sound setting stuff, but it's new to Kingdom Hearts where you could very, very easily just turn off the voices and like you could like let everything like the music play, just you could disable the voices. I'm
Oh,
like I
really?
joked on stream, it's like they've given me a fan dub option here and now. Like I just record all the audio, all the sound effects, and
Right.
I can just layer English voices on top if I want to. Like,
Oh,
um, I almost wonder if
makes
that's
it
more
easy.
probable, and they can
Yeah,
just
yeah.
not have to worry about. I mean, especially with everything going on, which I think is overall a good thing, but like with sort of voice actors kind of standing up for their rights quite a lot more.
Hmm.
The cynical view in me says like, well, do they just say stuff them? Too hard to work with them. Like,
Yeah.
especially on this kind of like updated release, you know, like who knows? Like with one project that has a one release date, maybe that's one thing. But if you're planning on this game existing for 3, 4, 5 years, you know, who knows? Who knows what the landscape looks like in a voice
Yeah.
actor's world by then? You know, you sign them up now, but contract renegotiations, like the world could. I don't know. I mean, this is maybe me being completely insane here, but and really
Hmm.
overreaching. But maybe it's just easier to put your hands up and say, sorry, I don't know, we'll just do Japanese only, and they'll just live with it. That's what again. The beta was in Japanese. All the text was in English, but it was just Japanese only voices
Oh,
for the
okay.
combat, and there was no English voice acting. I mean, I'd love it if there was.
Oh.
Save me a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah.
work because I feel like eventually I would have to make a fan dub, but
Well, but you have all the text in English, right?
we have all the text in English. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And again, you click settings, turn off voice acting in the cutscenes, and it's like 2 clicks, and you
Yeah,
just
it's
have
weird that that's even like an option. That's really, I guess
the
that
fan dub
must be to
option.
combat. Well, yeah, but like that must also be like maybe people don't want to like hear the Japanese voices.
Sure,
Like I
sure.
could see that as like a thing. Like it might be confusing for like a German person to like be hearing Japanese but reading German. I mean, it'd be confusing for me to be reading English and a little bit. Like,
Mm.
huh,
The spreadsheet
interesting.
I'm showing off now says Spindash 54 initially created this. You can find him on Twitter.
Hmm.
Um, and I've sort of like added a couple little columns to it. But basically like showing when content came out in Japanese for Union Cross and Dark Road, and then when it eventually came out to English as well, if it ever did. Like again, some key exclusive stuff did not. Well, I mean, it kind of did, but not all
Oh,
of it
okay.
came across.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, just like average wait times and stuff, or like, and then I added in a column of like how often did JP get updates? So, you know, every couple weeks, every 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 4,
Wow.
2, 4, blah 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 blah. So yeah, it was kind of
Yeah.
interesting to look back over it and see, because some weeks we get like every single month there'd be new stuff, and then sometimes they would feel like real major droughts. But I guess what I was looking at by the end, the gap was shrinking. Like this is the column here, like JP to global, because sometimes in
Mm.
global they'd push out 2 updates at a time. Eventually, like
Yeah,
with the idea
yeah.
of try and get us gradually caught up. That was the heartbreaking thing, kind of being there at the time, was seeing them doing it. They're like, oh my god, they're gonna do it. We're actually gonna make it. We're gonna get the finale at the same time as JP.
Yeah.
And I think they just couldn't delay it anymore. I'm pretty
Mm.
sure it was like the 31st of May that the final update ended up coming out in JP for Union Cross, which always
Right.
seemed like such a weird day to me. But I'm like, I think that was the hard as hell deadline. It's like JP is getting this content at the end of May, not one day later. So they're like,
Mm.
okay, so they just sacrificed the English version. Like, okay, it's not going to be ready. JP gets its first. English will get it a couple weeks later. That's just how they're gonna have to deal with it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Even though we had caught up, we had literally caught up.
I do remember. Yeah, I do.
I put a suit on. I was there, and then we just got completely annihilated.
I mean, I saw single digits there, or not single, double digits.
For the wait
Oh, it
time.
was like 91 days above. Yeah.
Yeah. But look at how it shrinks. So yeah, the Game Central Station content starts like here, right? So about at that point we're about 3 months behind.
Mm.
We actually ended up having to wait longer for those ones, but I think then they started like really dragging it because man, we were droughting for quite a while. Then they eventually were able to like bring it back down. Yeah, 70, 56. Then we're only 4 weeks behind, And then by the third last quest, yeah, 977 was the third last. By the third
Mhm.
last quest, we had fully caught up, and we got him on the same day. The penultimate quest, the same day as JP, and we're like, yay, we got the finale at the same time. 9 days later, they made us wait. Anyway, the point of all of that
Yeah.
was to say that I think they understand the value of pushing out the
Mm.
content at the same time. Like,
Yeah.
man, oh man, I feel like English audiences were like more hyped than they'd ever been, and obviously like it was leading into the finale, but also they hadn't been spoiled. Like, you could experience it in English. That was huge. That was
Yeah.
absolutely huge. Like, it felt so cool being able to like, we're only an hour behind JP. You could wait that long. You couldn't wait
That's
5,
right.
6, 7
Yeah,
weeks. You
yeah.
couldn't do it. Like, you were gonna get
Yeah.
spoiled. Hey, here's Lorian. Like, seconds after his reveal, here he is.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
here's Ven, here's Elrena, blah blah blah. Here's all these people. Like,
That was crazy.
you couldn't wait 5 weeks. You could wait an hour. You could do that.
Mm.
I don't know. So anyway, I'm hoping that we
Yeah.
can't see
I mean, I'm
Link
sure.
ever falling behind like that again.
Well, I think even with your explanation of the setting for turning off the voices, it's like I feel like that's a pretty good indicator to suggest that they have like a global timeline rather than like separated timelines. But
I think so.
We won't know till it comes out.
I just think it just makes sense. Like,
Mm.
you have people that are in it for like the creator character aspect, or just enjoy your Kingdom Hearts mobile
So
game. But
excited.
then there's people that are in there for the lore, and you want to
Mm.
keep them in there, right? It shouldn't be, again, as a YouTuber, like, it shouldn't really be more convenient to go to YouTube than to play your own game. And by the end, Union Cross and especially Dark Road were that. Like, it was way more convenient to watch the content on YouTube
I
than
feel
it
like
was
it's
to
gonna
actually
still
play the
be
game.
more convenient for a lot of people to watch on YouTube.
I mean, I'll be making it on YouTube, don't worry. Like, but you just wanted to you want to give people the best chance, right? Dark Road, I feel like actively punished you for playing, because there was no
Road?
theater mode for ages. There was no theater mode. Episodes 1, 2, and 3, you had one shot to watch that stuff, and it was hilarious because you had 4 options for the characters. You couldn't even replay the content and see what the differences were. You had
I feel like they
one
had
shot.
they had a vision for that game.
But the money didn't follow. I mean, I talked about the graph last week, right? Where it's like,
Mm.
you have all these expectations because, like, holy shit, the audience that came in through Kingdom Hearts 3, we're going to be rich. Give us a new project to work on. Oh, brilliant. You got a story for us? It's called Dark Road? Amazing. We'll make it into a game for you. Here you go. No one gave a shit. Absolutely no one cared. So,
Unfortunately.
but this, I think, I don't know. I'm really excited for Missing Link. I just feel like the story of Dark Road is awesome. The story of Union Cross was awesome. And this takes place in the middle with even more like mystery and intrigue and so many new characters.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like it's really poised for success. And
very
once people
excited.
actually get their hands on it, because again, like I do understand people that like don't consider, people rightfully so, like, I don't really count the betas. I didn't get to play it. Like, look, fair. But then to the same point, I'd be like, well, I wouldn't count Key then in your wait for Kingdom Hearts 3 because that was JP only. And nothing was happening. Again, as a mobile game defender, nothing was happening in those games for months. It's like, I don't think you get to count Key as a release and not count. Because I got to play it. I'm sorry, like, it's an audience that is in a country apart from you, Japan, Australia.
Yeah.
They got to experience, again, it's easy for me to sit here and say because I got to play it, but I don't know.
Yeah. I really wanted to like submit an application, but I was like, New Zealand is not Australia. And I was like, I gotta be proud of that. I gotta stand by the New Zealand nation.
Am I crazy? Wasn't it Australia, New Zealand, and the UK that got to apply? Or am I insane?
No, it was just Australia.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it was not New Zealand. No, I would have been on that. Yeah.
I think someone like VPN.
Oh, I know. There was
States,
several
but-
people from. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of people VPNing, I think,
But
because it was GPS, right?
you
Or
stick to
spoofing,
your
or
you stick
whatever.
to your guns. You're like,
Gotta
no,
stick to my New Zealand guns.
that's right. You're proud.
Should we? Do you want to move into? Because you kind of touched on Missing Link, but I kind of want to circle back to like expectations for the anniversary before
Please,
we.
please.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have. Yeah, I just found out about this today, so you know. No, I knew there was an event. I just don't remember it having like a website. Yeah. So I think maybe do you want to start off because you have a little bit more backstory or knowledge on this than I do.
I mean, obviously, like, there were tickets for there's not going to be a surprise, like, oops, a live in-person event. Like, we would have heard about it by now if that was going to exist. But
Right.
again, I mean, I would love to see something in 2 days. I would love to see a tweet saying, "Hey, pre-registrations are open. Missing Link is coming. Here's the release date. Blah 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 blah. You can pre-register now." Amazing. I would love that. Um, Failing that, again, I start taking a little huff of the copium. I would say 10-4 would be the next logical date to like tease something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And if nothing happens by then, boy, we're in real trouble. But
So is this all for Missing Link? Nothing Kingdom Hearts 4 related?
to me, it's
Or
like
new
it's Union
titles?
Cross. Like you don't talk about 4. Like you want to, if you whatever you say about 4 to the majority of people will immediately overshadow whatever you say about Missing Link, right? By and large, no one gives a shit. So you have to like let it have its spotlight and establish it first. That's why everyone's like, "Where's the 4 trailer?" I'm like, they're not gonna talk about it until Missing Link is out in the wild. Like they're just not gonna. Yeah, am I crazy? Because again, most people don't care about the mobile games. They're like, "Oh, who gives a shit? I don't want to talk about this." So if you put them out on the same day, it's like, okay, I mean, I can literally show it to you. You know what's hilarious? I can put a copyright claim on like every single person on YouTube that has uploaded the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer, because I was like, again, I sprinted back from this wedding on 10/4 on this anniversary, and I was streaming on YouTube. So like I'm technically the first person to have uploaded the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer to YouTube. And so therefore I can copyright claim everyone. I was looking at it the other day, and it's like, so the breakdown is, here are all these people that put it up as Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer. Boom, all these massive amounts of views. And here are all these people that put it up as Kingdom Hearts 20th anniversary event, the 7-minute, the full version. Infinitely less views. The Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer is like that's what people care about.
Yeah.
Let me pull it up. I can show you, but yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Well, because then that means that you could file a copyright strike on Kingdom Hearts 4?
On Square Enix
Or Kingdom Hearts?
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Yes, I can.
That
That's how
seems
cool.
weird.
It's a really cool system YouTube has there. Yes, correct.
Oh, man.
I'm gonna click the copyright button here, and I'm gonna it matches. Here you go. So let me show you.
Wow. That's crazy.
Okay, so this is how cool YouTube is. That Kingdom Hearts 4 reveal trailer, Kingdom Hearts 4 and 20th anniversary, Kingdom Hearts 20th anniversary, 2020 trailer, Kingdom Hearts 4 reveal, Kingdom Hearts 4, Kingdom Hearts 4, Kingdom Hearts 4.
And
Like,
this is 100% of their video.
I can claim it if I want to, yeah.
That's
because it won't be
crazy.
successful, but YouTube's a cool place, and I can definitely
Wow.
again, maybe I'm wrong here, but I think it's because I was technically the first person to be uploading it, given that like I was live at the time.
Right.
For whatever reason, even though they talked about this 20th anniversary event, I don't know if anyone else was really streaming at the time. I was like,
Well, I don't
they're
think
gonna
anybody
talk-
realized that there was going to be new stuff, right?
I feel like I'm insane here because I don't go live for most things. Because I'm like, I don't think we're gonna see Kingdom. Like, I feel like I only try and go live when. It's gonna bite me in the ass now that I say this, and then next time I go live, nothing will happen.
Don't say it now.
Right? Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes seem more realistic than others, and I'm gonna circle back to my stupid point here of like, if you hype up every single thing as like, this could be it, this could be what we see it, the people start getting these crazy expectations, and then it doesn't happen, and they go, "Oh, we're so disappointed. Oh, I can't believe they didn't do this." Like, they never promised they were going to talk about this stuff. I think other people are putting these ideas in your head of when content might be coming out. Maybe it's silly to listen to that.
Sorry, I'm just looking at the that Kingdom Heart that fourth video.
Yes.
That's what is that?
Something different. So that's the 2021.
God, I was like freaking out. I was like, that was in 2020.
No.
Like,
That's the
have
one
they
that
had
has
this
like
knowledge?
the Avengers style, like it's showing off like the
Oh,
different
the phases.
blah blah blah. Yeah. So
I was like, hold on a second. But even that, right? Like you would have streamed that as well, and then you would have ownership, quote unquote. Of
I guess, and maybe I'm totally wrong here, but like,
I mean, it tracks,
I don't know how I would have
seems
beat them to YouTube. Surely, like I've reacted to that after it's come out. So again, I could be completely insane here, but it's more just the point of like, Kingdom Hearts 4 gets the bigger amount of like reaction and news, and it's understandable because again, most it's the main one, and it's those spin-offs. Even though I don't agree with that term at all, but the spin-offs aren't important. It's only the main ones that the like by and large people give a shit about. So yeah, I don't think they're going to talk about 4, at least until they've like established Missing Link and get it going first. And they're probably going to tie stuff in together. Like, why wouldn't you be like, "Oh, you excited for 4? Well, check out Missing Link because it's going to have all these connections and blah 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 blah." Like, I would be surprised if they're not like super overt with it. Like,
that has to be that Missing Link period has to be when like first contact with the other side happens or something. Like there has to be some kind of quadratum, you know,
Sure, I could see that. Yeah.
mixing in there for
And again,
sure.
you're talking from a person who hasn't played the beta at all, and I'm not gonna.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, I have no
So
idea.
I won't.
So,
Yes, no. Otherwise, you yeah.
it's
But
just it just makes logical sense to me that
yeah,
the
sure,
same way that Kingdom Hearts Union Cross kind of bridged some like lore gaps.
totally.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So
Um,
I don't know. If people are wondering where 4 is, why are they so silent at 4? To me, it's like it makes total sense that they would be.
yeah,
Because when
you
they're
don't
ready,
want to
they'll talk
dwarf.
about it. They'll go hard when they're ready to. Like, and I know it's been a few years, and I know, oh, it was gonna be shorter this time. Well, I don't know. That's the world. And I guess maybe I'm older. I'm happy to wait. I can barely play the games that are coming out.
Yeah,
Like,
nah, I feel that, dude. Yeah,
but
I need to
again,
play more
again,
games.
as someone who was younger and all I gave a shit about was Kingdom Hearts, like I get you. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not taking away from you. Feel antsy. You feel like you can't sleep because like, oh boy,
Oh, totally.
I remember well. So I'm not trying to take that away from you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Again, so expectations. Boy, I'd love to see something on the 28th. I'd love
Hmm.
some. I'm sure we'll get some acknowledgement from like the JP account, probably the English account,
For missing Link.
whether even just both, even just like, oh hey,
Oh,
Kingdom
okay.
Hearts
Yeah.
1 was released on this day, and I think a few.
Oh, they usually do that, right?
Some of the other ones have probably also
Hmm.
found the same release. Oh, I forget. But anyway, like I feel like we had some sort of acknowledgement, and I would love, like, again, either open missing link pre-registrations or something like that would be the best outcome for a pretty soon, like a May, June, July release date would be like the best outcome. If that doesn't happen,
Yeah.
you take a little huff and you go, maybe the 10th of April is when it happens. I think if we
Yeah.
don't hear anything by then we can be like, oh shit, that's pretty bad. But then you go, then maybe they just drop it out of nowhere. Maybe they just drop it in
I think
like
that's what's gonna
June,
happen.
July. Just one
Yeah.
day, like, poof, here it is.
I think there's gonna be like a couple weeks maybe in advance.
Yeah.
All right. This is my expectation for this anniversary. I don't think anything's gonna happen. It's a 3-year anniversary. That's not really a. I mean, you can make the argument that's kind of a trio nod, but like game dev projects usually take a. I guess this is coming from like if they're going to talk about Kingdom Hearts 4, like they take like 4 to 5 years, and then you would start seeing teasers. And so we've already seen like a little bit of a teaser. I feel like there's going to be a little bit more dev time on Cage 4 before we get more teasers. And then in terms of like Missing Link, it's like I feel like it's going to come out this year. Like
Yeah.
I would be very surprised. There are two thoughts. If we don't see a release this year, I feel like they might have just scrapped it and they're gonna do like a back cover kind of style animation for it rather than doing like this whole game as a service kind of thing. Because like they would, I don't know, there's some business decision behind that. But I'd be very surprised if they would not, yeah, if they wouldn't release any kind of information. Yeah.
This I don't see them ever can like with all the work they've already done.
Mm.
At this
You'd be
point, just release
surprised,
it, right?
honestly.
I suppose
mean,
there's crazy things that
there's
happen.
the
I suppose
whole-
like Concord exists, right? Where it
I
just
was literally gonna say Concord.
I feel like that's almost like the exception that like breaks the. I don't know.
Yeah.
With all the content they've. Again, I'm optimistic, and I'm pretty sure it was only the weather that delayed him last time. Again, maybe I'm crazy, but like, I think this year we're seeing a release.
Yeah.
Okay, knowing that Ever Crisis is on mobile, but also on Steam,
Mm-hmm.
man, I would almost go optimistic into the next couple weeks and be like, they can not only say, hey, it's coming out on mobile for this date, it's coming out on Steam on this date. Like that could be.
Yeah.
Sorry, my nose is blocked now, but like, I know people are like, how does that work? Well, like, I feel like you walk around all day with your phone in your pocket, collecting AP, it's killing Heartless, it's grinding it, you're barely paying attention to it, but then you get home, it's a linked account, you load it up, put a controller in, whatever, like, and then you're just playing it like a Kingdom Hearts game on Steam, and then you're killing Heartless and you're running around.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
map and
if it's
everything.
made in Unreal, then like you already have all the controller like mapping. Like you don't have to do anything extra.
Yeah, I mean, again, you don't want to know anything, but I was playing it with a controller. I wasn't playing it on the tablet, and it felt great. It felt actually really good to
Yeah.
play it with a controller in my hand. It felt awesome. Like it was Bluetooth synced to the tablet. It felt sick.
That's actually pretty wild. I didn't know that. Yeah.
It automatically detected the PlayStation symbols and everything. It was like, oh, here you go, it's place, and then you could like move around the
Oh,
UI how you felt
wow.
like it. So I'm just like, okay, I put like, it's sort of, I'm not trying to spoil you directly, but like it's Birth by Sleepy where you can activate it's pieces, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
activate
All
commands
good.
based on pieces.
I'm
So
fine.
I like
That's
I
cool.
arranged them in the bottom left corner with like triangle, square, circle, X, and backwards on the camera, but like it was the
Oh, okay.
PlayStation controller, and it was like it felt really cool. And
Yeah,
people can
yeah.
do whatever they want with it, make it how look however they want to. But
Mm.
yeah, I don't know. I'm going optimistic into the next few weeks. I mean, I don't know if we're gonna see anything tomorrow or
Mm.
in 2 days rather, but I'm hopeful. I am hopeful.
Yeah, it would be really cool to see something. I think I'm getting that like flutter of like anticipation now again.
Yeah. And again,
But
maybe I'm a hypocrite
yeah.
talking like, oh, I'm not saying I'm just, I personally am hopeful for the next little while, but
Mm.
I don't think anyone should be, taking time off work to watch this, but
Maybe if the game is coming out, right?
sure.
Nah, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like
Um,
7/13, like 13th of July would be the perfect time to like Kingdom Hearts release it, right? Like
oh,
right in
true.
summer.
Yeah.
That's a okay. So Pokemon Go launched on the
Right
6th of
before
July.
Reconnect,
Right
or
on
right after
Reconnect.
Reconnect. Yeah.
No, that's the day, 7/13. Because
Oh, it
Kingdom
is actually.
Hearts.
Bro,
Yeah.
that'd be so cool.
Dude,
That'd be
how
so
sick would that
cool.
be? If we're at Reconnect, everyone busts their phones out. We're
Just
killing Heartless.
all the events are called off.
Cancel. Yeah. It's missing link day now. Everyone
Oh,
go home.
man. Okay, that has me really excited for Reconnect. That'd be
I think we're
sick.
playing it by Reconnect, man. I think we are.
I think so. Yeah, I would have. July's pretty late in the summer to be releasing it.
But also again,
I
like back to
figured.
the yeah, sorry, go on,
Sorry.
go on.
Yeah.
No, go.
No. That's what I was. It'd be really late to release it that, like in July, because then that's like end of summer.
Yeah.
So.
I did this the other day. Like I looked up all of Niantic's release dates for like the Harry Potter game and the NBA game and the Pikmin Bloom and all that stuff.
Oh, Pikmin Bloom.
I had them written down somewhere. But like Pokemon Go, the main one that I really think they're like pretty much one to one taking from, released on the 6th of July. So I'm like, that's almost perfect to like copy it in the Kingdom Hearts way. I don't think I mean, don't wait that long. Bring it out sooner, please God. But if they say, hey, it's coming out on the 13th of July, like, awesome. Like,
yeah,
that would be so sick.
Yeah, I can see
I don't know.
Spectacle.
I just don't think they. I feel like they have been honest with us. Like they sort of insinuated, not directly, but insinuated through interviews that like we want to release it when it's warm outside, and then we didn't see anything by July, didn't see anything by August. But then in November they're like, yeah, well, sorry, we're not making it this year. It's like once we didn't see it in the hot part of the year, I was like, well, we're not going to see it this year then. You're just not going to release it in December or November when it's cold in America. You're just not going to do it. It's like once we missed that window, I was like, no, we're not seeing it at all. And based on how they used to talk about delays in the Union Cross days, I was like, oh, they're going to tell us on the 29th of December, oh, by the way, it's not coming. Like,
yeah.
really? Great, thanks. But they said it in November. I'm like, oh, they're actually being pretty transparent here. Surprisingly so. So when everyone's like, oh, we haven't heard shit from them, I'm like, compared to what we used to do, like you would tell us sometimes 4 days after we were expecting the Union Cross update, oh, we're actually running a bit behind. Yeah, we know. Because I'm not, like, I don't know. I just, again, maybe having experienced Bitgrew for so long and now seeing them talk about, I don't know, like, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I think we're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, it would have been nice to have had it last year, sure. But if anything, it's just got more time in the oven. Like, great. Like, work on it longer. I mean, again, as an old man who sees the coffin quickly approaching, I'm like, well, I don't have enough time to do anything I want to do anyway. So sure, take longer, make it better, great. Like I'll be here for it when it's ready. But
well, I think it allows for more time for polish and like
exactly.
Whenever you can get those extra few months or even like a full year, it sounds like of polish, like you more times than not, the outcome is way better, both in terms of business and as well as like anticipation and
sure.
The content, like you can get a whole backlog going, and there's a lot of benefits to delaying, and hopefully they've done a lot of good things with that time. I'm very hopeful. Yeah,
I hope so as well. Yeah, again, the last time we saw it officially was in that beta that a few lucky of us ones did get to play, and I again, for what was there, I played the crap out of it. Like all week I was streaming like 5, 6, even like 10, 12 hour sessions of like. And not really getting bored either. Like I was having a pretty good time with it. So
Mm.
Plus the time like I was walking around, I had it in my pocket during the day, and then I would come home and I'd play the crap out of it once I got back. So I'm like, that was again in this hypothetically unpolished state. So man, yeah, bring it on. Like,
Yeah.
I'm really excited for it. And obviously the downside to delay, of course, like some fans feel betrayed and blah 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 and want it sooner. Like again, understandable. I'm very lucky that I got to play it. I don't want to diminish that at all. I would have been fuming. I would have been seething with rage, and just like, jealousy if I didn't get to play it. Like I don't want to take away from anyone that's like a massive fan, wanted to play it, just never even got the chance because they lived in the States or other countries that weren't part of the beta. Totally
New
get it. New Zealand. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully just a little bit longer. Hopefully we'll be rewarded. And hopefully the game will be amazing. Blow everyone's expectations away. And yeah. We were going to talk about like what I thought was going to happen in the story, but we're already at over an hour. I don't know.
I mean, I have some notes.
Sure.
I don't know if I just want to briefly go through because I haven't seen any of the. I think I saw the trailer like once or twice.
Yeah.
And then yeah, so something I noticed because okay yeah, so I did actually I rewatched the Missing Link trailer whenever we were gonna do the podcast last time, just to get prepped for it, and like they had this like shooting star in the background, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm sure I've seen that like somewhere, and they even like call attention to it, right? Like they have the person where the shooting star is, and it's like you see that in all of the numbered titles. So like KH1 in the end sequence, Birth by Sleep in like
Kingdom Hearts Zero. The opening
Hearts
credits.
Zero?
Yeah. BBS unofficially.
Oh
Kingdom
yeah,
Hearts
yeah.
Zero. Yeah.
Like, yeah. Okay, I see. Yeah, yeah. And then like KH2, like yeah, both of them coming through with Sora, and then Sora and Riku, and then KH3, you have like all those stars in the final world, and like they haven't really touched on. Like they've mentioned the astral plane, which I've noted down. I think that's gonna be different than like the final world because that feels a little bit different. Well, I have some notes here. Hold on. I'm like trying to like think back on like what I wrote down. Oh yeah, there's like the whole like linking to the keyholes and Remind where you can like see the lights going to.
I
the
still think that's
hearts.
going to pay off at some point because it was like a really
Yeah.
cool scene, but they didn't go into it much at the time. I imagine we will get more on that at one point.
Yeah, definitely. Because that was also like, that's, these are all these different hearts. And like, not that they're like shooting stars, but like the light beams coming through and like back is like very, I don't know, like, if anything, I feel like the hearts are the falling stars, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's a little bit of a stretch, but yeah. Yeah, so yeah, the astral plane is very interesting. I'm very curious to learn more about that. I was like doing like deep dives on like, what is like the astral plane and stuff like that, and like there's like the whole logo that has like orbits around it. I don't know,
Yes.
from the Missing Link, and like that to me like kind of like it's like, oh, there's gonna be some like astrological like essence, or there's gonna be some like astrological isn't really astral plane, but it's like I feel like they're gonna there's gonna be some link to those. Yeah,
Just got your
I guess
document open
you
here.
probably have. Yeah, that's what I've been reading actually. Yeah, so I'm really excited to see where they take it because like introducing a whole new plane. They've already introduced like you have the realm of light, the realm of darkness. I think of those as like different planes.
Totally.
And then you have like the lanes between, or the land between, or there's something, right? Where's Twilight Town? That's like
It's closer to it's like it's still on the realm of light, but it's kind of like really close to the middle. If there is to think of it as like two separate planes, it's closer to the middle than some of the other worlds are, for example.
Right. Yeah. Well, then you even have like you have your plane, and then you have like the opposite plane, right? Like the unreality, and it's like I'm sure the astral plane is going to be like something, between or
Bridging
something.
the two.
Yeah, right. Like that was my whole like thinking is like, oh, this is what's gonna explain how like crossing over works or something. Especially with like the whole like non-physical, like spiritual stuff. I don't know, like spirit worlds, stuff like that, like with Avatar, The Last Airbender, and stuff like that. Like still in the real world, but like you're like separated. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. No, I see. Yeah, I I keep coming back to like, how much of FF13 have you played?
Nothing. I need to play a
Okay,
game really badly.
okay. So
Is that like a game I should play next kind of thing? Like,
to me, I did it as like I played 13 back when it came out initially, but I never played 2. I never played Lightning Returns, and I was like, okay, I always wanted to go back. I always wanted to play the entire FF series, like kind of 100% them all.
all of them.
But especially now that it's like, okay, they're clearly reviving what was maybe reviving is a strong word, strongly alluding to Versus 13, which had its own lore that was connected to 13 and Agito 13, which evolved into a game called Type 0. I'm like,
Oh, okay.
I feel like I should at least do the research and be like, what were those games about? Because it's like, if they just want to like be a quick reference to them, sure. But if they want to like potentially even revive the lore of those games, then it would be kind of cool to know about. So I guess I don't really want to spoil it for you.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
kind
no,
of voicing thoughts out loud.
it's a good hint for me to start playing those. I need a computer
How
that
about?
can handle it.
I mean, I guess PS3 is where the 13 series is on. It's on PS4. I think didn't Whale play them
It's
on
probably
Xbox?
an
Or something?
Xbox, right? Yeah, I
I
don't
feel
think.
like I saw your wife playing them at one point a long time ago, but maybe I'm wrong. On Xbox, maybe I'm wrong. This is
I
a few
feel like
years
you're
ago.
right. Yeah, no, I'll have to
Yeah,
ask her about that. And we
yeah,
actually did just get an Xbox, so I could probably do that. now
there you
that
go.
we.
There you go. Well,
And now I
just
have no
mute,
excuses.
cover, take headphones off for like 1 second, just so I can voice it for the poor
Take my what?
viewers.
Oh, my headphones? Oh, yeah.
Just for like 1 second. All right. So again, spoilers for those who haven't played 13, but like, the way that, and I've talked about this before, but the way that there's like a creator that has created a bunch of like gods in universe and then departed off to this alternate realm. I almost see that as like, kind of Union Cross finale and Dark Road may have put a stopper in this, but kind of the Master Masters did the same thing. Like, he kind of gave the foretellers these massive roles, and they're almost like kind of mini gods of their own universe, the realm of light. And then he takes off to this realm on the other side of death, which is what Unreality is supposed to be like. It's this afterlife, quote unquote, in a sense of it. So it's like, I see a lot of parallels there, between that and the overall like 13 mythos. So I'm like, I'm glad I haven't finished Lightning Returns yet, but I've played Type 0 with its like massive cyclical thing that it has going on. And 13.2, and I've like played a little bit of Lightning Returns. I don't want to get back to streaming it, but anyway, we'll get Water back in here. Get Water back in. I don't know if you can see. Come back, Water. Oh, I'll message him. That's just just to kind of elaborate on the thought I was having just then of like a link between kind of reality and reality. Come back.
Okay.
We're good.
Hello.
Yeah, there he is. Yeah.
I'm back.
No spoilers. This is just a quick little
What happened?
thought elaboration of what I was having there.
Right.
But yeah,
No, it sounded great. I loved it.
I want to keep going with Lightning Returns, the third one, very much. I just
Oh, you haven't finished it?
I fell off when 16 came out, and then I was like, I haven't finished the
still need
fan
to play
dub.
that
If
game
I keep
too.
streaming, I'll never finish the fan dub. So then I got into that, and then
Yeah.
here we are. Now I'm working on the Dark Road one. So I'm like, one day I'll stream again,
Dude,
and actually
tell
play
me
a
about
game.
it. Yeah.
Just in terms of like Missing Link, okay. I talked about this with Sonny, I think, Sonny Novus, when the game was first revealed. But so again, I'm just gonna summarize what I said to him back then. This is not leak, nothing. This is just like what I could piece together from Union Cross, Dark Road, and then what you would do in a game called Missing Link. All right.
Oh wait,
So
I
we
got
know-
one more thing to say.
Please, because I'll look up cutscenes in the meantime.
Cause okay, well, there's two things. Cause right, you have my document open. But no, the one of the first things, and I'm sure you thought about this, was the like really, on the nose missing link, like correlating to Chain of Memories, like for sure there's gonna be this is why nobody remembers this part of time, right? Because like in Chain of Memories, when Naminé starts taking apart the chains of memory or chains of Sora's memories, he forgets, right? Like it's overwritten. And then
Mm.
when she actually destroys it, it like breaks his heart. Or I'm embellishing. I don't know all of the lore behind that, but right, like it's damage to Sora in the sense of like he has to sleep and she has to piece all that back together. So if you take that on like a grand scale, the world's chain of memories, right? Like that has to be massive effects. And so like nobody remembers that. Even like right in chain of memories, like everybody forgot who Sora was when his chain of memories were taken out of everybody's chains. So
Right.
it's like I feel like totally like I'm so excited because I like chain of memories a lot.
Sure.
So like I'm really excited to see what they do with this like missing link chain of memories, correlation stuff.
It's a great idea, right? Like it would imply that someone's actively like basically decoupled. I mean, that yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really great thought because like I mean, to me, it's that no one ever like it was censored from the Book of Prophecies,
Mm.
so that's why it's the missing like it's a massive version of the missing page, right? It's like events that just
Yeah.
weren't written down, so no one knows about it. But I really like
Yeah.
the thought
Yeah.
of like someone has literally gone in and been like, can get uncoupled
No,
collectively
exactly.
everyone's memory of that time period on this like global world size scale. That's really cool. I love that idea.
Mm. Well,
That's
because right
awesome.
then it would give. So this is my whole like Naminé's power has to originate from somewhere, right? Like she just doesn't, you know, figure out that she can manipulate chains or like memories, right? Like that kind of I don't know magic has to come from somewhere. Maybe that's maybe he doesn't. Maybe she just that's her
I think I
power.
love it. Keep going. This is awesome.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Well, that would give more context because right, Naminé would be Kyrie's nobody, but
Mm-hmm.
then like oh wait, everybody else's nobody looks like themselves
Mm-hmm.
except for Sora and Kyrie, who had different hearts inside of them. So it's like okay, Naminé is probably from this like missing link era, and that's why like Kyrie's important. Well, not why Kyrie's important. She's important for other reasons, but like it would give more meaning to Naminé's character as well because it's like of all the nobodies or and somebodies or whatever, you know, like we don't really have an explanation for why Naminé doesn't look like Kyrie
The best
from
reason
my
they sort of
perspective.
gave was that like if Ven is blonde, this is what I sort of took it to understand is like okay, so the process of Sora like extracting the hearts from himself kind of birthed these
Mm.
two nobodies, one of which was literally born of Ven's heart, and the other of which was like it's Kyrie's nobody, but sort of influenced by the
Oh,
presence of Ven at the same time.
I
Was
see.
sort of because the heck and again, but
Yeah,
I
yeah,
almost like want to dig into your point more of like well then but how did she get the memory powers? Like I really that's
yeah, yeah.
I
Oh, okay,
yeah
it makes more sense because like Sora, like Kyrie's heart would have been a part of Sora, so
right.
like that extraction, there would have been links to Sora's heart. Because I don't think she can mess with anybody else's chains, right? Like it's only Sora's.
Well, she breaks Riku like on the spot, right? Like Dark Riku was like going to attack, and she's
Oh,
like
true.
and like stops him in
Yeah,
the moment.
but again,
But
his
yeah,
links are chain, like
also
theirs.
related.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
but again, oh yeah, that is true.
and
But
yeah,
yeah, I
and you
would love
can
to see Naminé, get developed more. Kyrie
dude.
even having
I
some
think
like
that's awesome. Yeah,
stems.
I think
Uh,
you can infer that like Dark Riku's entire existence of like believing himself to be the original Riku, like there's probably like hooks that Namine like was involved in some way in kind of like stitching his memory together from you know
mm,
copying Riku's across. So, but yeah, I mean,
yeah.
because the explanation they always gave was that oh yeah, she was born of Sora's heart and memories and Kai's, so therefore she has the power over them. Sure, but if they want to develop that further and give the
Yeah,
like, because they're no
it's
strangers
so
to
cool.
going back to old lore and kind of revisiting it, so I could
Yeah,
definitely say that. That'd be sick.
yeah.
Um,
And then I had
and
another point about the Scala
please,
language, but like I don't really. There's not really much. It's more like I noticed it. Like there's a lot of Scala language in the new all the Scala in Kingdom Hearts 4, end of Kingdom Hearts 3, and obviously a missing link. I really want to come back to it at some point and try to like dissect it and figure out what it means
I
because like
will
there's
link you a
some.
Discord community who is quite far ahead of you in this train of thought, but
Oh
they would.
really?
I'm sure they would love. Yeah. Uh, I think 3 might have just been like nonsense, like flavor, but missing
No,
link is
no. Really?
100% translatable into English. Yes,
Oh, okay,
100%.
interesting.
Yeah, I was even like I
Well,
think in the
my
beta I picked
only.
out a few things, but
Oh
like
yeah.
they've basically made almost the entire alphabet plus numerical characters plus
Oh,
lowercase characters.
interesting.
They're pretty, and from what I've looked around on, um, it holds water. It holds, well, lol,
He
but
emailed me.
yeah, no, I'll link you to a Discord community. So it's I am Captain Kai, I believe. Maybe I'm saying that wrong.
I don't know what that means.
I'll link. So the username for the person. And
Oh, okay.
it's one other person as well. I'm gonna feel awful for not remembering your name. I'm sorry, but yeah, Captain Kai and someone
You can
else.
just
They were
voice
like,
it in here. No.
sure, yeah, but I'll link you to the Discord, and I'll put the. If I remember, I'll put it in the description as well. If you want to check out, like, yeah, the efforts
Okay.
made to kind of translate the Scala language.
Because I remember when I was first doing like looking at it in Remind, and like
Mm,
when you're in the Scala at Kayam place, there's like things like shop or shoes, and like things that kind of look like it could be the language, but then you have the massive plate, right? That like
holds one of the pieces of
the
Kari's heart.
orb. Oh, even like
Yeah.
the orb. Yeah, like the whole like it looks like a globe. That could be definitely missing link related. But it's like you have that big panel. It's like I swear that has they didn't just put a whole bunch of random text on there.
If it is, it doesn't mean like the characters don't seem to translate. Like it's a lot of the same characters, but they don't seem to translate in the same way that they do. Like Missing Link is
Ah,
they're 1-1, but it's this. I don't know.
interesting.
They might not have fully developed it at the time.
Okay.
Whereas now, I don't know. Again, maybe I haven't looked in quite a while, but to my
Yeah, yeah.
understanding, 3 was more like it might just be more tenuous. Whereas Missing Link is like hard confirmed. They are
Mm-hmm.
actively thinking about this when they're designing the everything.
Yeah. That's so cool to me. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that.
But yeah,
Yes.
so
Continue.
okay,
I think I've ran out of my points.
no, you're good. Well, so this Union Cross ends, right? So this is all we know about this place.
Mm.
Brain awakens. He has no idea where he is, but pretty much immediately after he arrives. This mysterious gentleman walks up with a hat, introduces himself as Sigurd, and says basically like,
Sigurd.
"I knew you were going to arrive." Well, to me, that's the implication that
Mm.
I knew you were going to arrive. Can you come with me? I don't want to talk to you out here. Can you talk to me in this place, like headquarters? Just as I thought.
Right.
Yeah, it fits perfectly.
Mhm.
So to me, it's like two things. Like, okay, there's a method of telling the future to know when this guy Brain will arrive, and it's like, well, okay, well, we already have a book of prophecies that can basically do that for us. I guess we should go back even further, right? Because the last time we see the book of prophecies, it's in Brain's hand as he's
That's
giving
right.
it to
I
Ephema,
missed
right? So
this,
he
dude.
hands it. Unicross is awesome, man.
That's so great.
Okay.
Even this scene. Oh
The
man,
scene
it was so
shattered
emotional.
me. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Absolutely shattered me when it came out. It was so good.
So the last thing we see.
Last thing we see is there we go. Well, that as well, but oh my goodness.
Man, this thing was packed
That last
with
update, yeah,
so
man,
much.
this is all one update. This is just my
Yeah.
recording of the final update.
So good.
Jesus.
So the last time we see the book.
Yeah, it's just this will be quick and easy to show off. Holy hell.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's idiot. It's the penultimate update, not the ultimate one. Stupid.
Right. But we do see it there too, though.
Yeah, it's here. It's the second last update, not the last one.
Mm.
Okay. Hand over Master Defender, Keyblade, Master Keeper, whatever you want to call it, plus Book of Prophecies. Here you go. Alright. So, Ephema's holding it, right? We know that Ephema is basically like the last guy alive, well, at least in this time period, when the ends of Union Cross kind of all goes down.
Mm.
In theory, is still holding Book of Prophecies plus Keyblade, right? At the end of it all. So, awakens in a new... There you go. Nailed that one. Awakens in a new place. Probably you can infer, knowing what you know about the Master Defender, that you could transform that land plus all of Daybreak Town's wreckage into like a new place. We'll call it Scala Ad Kaim, let's say. Because you got a Book of Prophecies that says, then he washed ashore and he turned this world into the book. He used his Master Defender Keyblade. It's written down, right? Like it's this should all be in the book. That's why he like there's a line ages ago about the Master of Masters to be like it's to shape the world into what it's supposed to be, right? That was the line. So that's why you basically hand it to a union leader with the Keyblade and like, okay, he's going to use the book to make the world into what it's supposed to be. Only one person's meant to get a copy of it.
Mm.
It was initially meant to be Strelitzia, right? Am I
Yeah.
stupid? Well,
Well,
I think. Anyway, getting into it. No
that's
matter,
the
no matter what I
theory.
think,
Yeah.
no matter what I think,
Yeah.
um,
Someone was supposed to get it.
yeah, and Ephraim is the one that ends up holding it.
Yeah.
Okay, so turns the land into, we can presume, based on
So
the statue.
I always thought the Master Defender for I don't know. I guess I thought it was the spell on the Land of Departure that allowed it to transform.
Yeah,
I guess I
well
didn't
they
really
say
ever think
this
about.
our forefathers devised a certain trick, right? That if this land was
Yeah.
ever in chaos, you could transform it. You know, it's a precious place, kind of neutral between light and dark, blah 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 blah.
Mm.
And yeah, but and I would agree with that, but I would also take it to mean that the Master Defender can do this. Like,
Yeah. I mean
I would just
that's a
take, I would
logical
infer
step
that he did. Okay, because we know again based on the context, they built a friggin' statue of him as a kid with the keyblade
with
in the air going.
it.
So one would infer that
Yeah.
they are commemorating something by building a fountain and a statue of him, and this
Mm.
might, I can infer right now that was he gave us a place to live. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
survivors of the Keyblade War, whatever descendants he and other people had, this is where they ended up living. So yeah,
I'm so excited.
but you would again, the end of that last conversation was like, I'm gonna hold on to these objects for now, but they're yours, and I will give them back to you. So it's like, okay, the next thing Brain does is he, no matter what my theories are, someone goes forward in time and awakens in the future. I mean, it seems very
Yeah.
likely, right? The last thing he remembers is that, oh, did anyone else arrive with me? Like, I don't know what happened, but so my friends escaped with me. So either that's a red herring and it's talking about a different time period, but it's inferred, give it's the ending of Union Cross, that I just time traveled and some of my friends just time traveled right, with me. Okay, the rest of the Union leaders and
Well,
Arena.
yeah.
Did
We're all
anyone else turn
shown
up here?
back to back as well, like all the different people
Right.
teleporting. So
Again, like from
one would assume that.
is
Yeah.
it set in stone? Definitely not. But you can infer what they are trying to say is that this is the guy we just saw talking to Luciu. He, no matter what the resolution of that conversation with Luciu was, he time traveled forward in time after that moment. Did anything
Or
happen in
something
between?
happened. Yeah.
Sure. Almost certainly something happened in between. Like 100% confirmed because they don't want us to know yet.
Yeah.
But yes, something happened in between. But he has arrived here and now in this time. So the next thought to me is that, okay, well, Ephraim just said, I'm holding on to these things for you. I want to give them back to you. But they're not doing it out in the open. Like, he didn't bring the Keyblade and the book with him.
Yeah.
Like, here you go. Here's your stuff. So it's like, okay. We also know that the Master Defender must end up with Ericus eventually and Odin before that. So it's like, okay. So what does this world look like? Why can't they talk out in the streets? So I'm like, okay, well, even just from this, knowing nothing about Missing Link, I'm like, the fact that he's
Wait.
all cloaked up and yeah, go on.
This is me with my bad memory, but Odin. I thought Odin. Oh wait, yeah. Does Odin have the Master Defender?
He's got both. So
He has
the
both,
no name's up
okay.
on the wall, but he can
Yeah,
summon
yeah.
and use it. But he is shown to be using the Master Defender when he saves Ericus and Xehanort from the darkness.
Yeah, yeah.
And when he goes off to confront Volder, although he just walks away and doesn't do anything, he's wielding the Master Defender at the time when he goes and does that.
Okay. Yeah, interesting.
Am I lying
So
to you?
then
Maybe I'm
at
lying to
some
you.
point.
I might be lying to you. He might,
Oh.
because he definitely summons the Keyblade, the no name off the wall at that point. I might have just lied, but
Okay.
he definitely has it at one point. Anyway, so even knowing nothing about Missing Link, it's like, okay, there's this kind of clandestine, shady, something's going on. Like, they don't want to have this conversation out in the open. So I'm like, okay, if I had the Book of Prophecies and I was worried about like what I'm gonna die eventually, right? I'm like, okay, do I trust this power to like any one person again, or do I like try and split it up? I don't know. Do I like, because again, I talked about this with Sunny back then, but it's like I don't know if I trust any one single person to like have a copy of the book. So do I either like rip out its pages and make sure no one can like know the complete contents of the future? Do I hide it? Do I make false copies of it? Like, what do I do? Is it, and also like, do some people even want to know like the book? The last page of the book says, "And so darkness prevailed and light expired." So it's like, wouldn't there be people that are like, "Hey, we should actively stop doing whatever the book says. Like, we should definitely not be following this thing. Like, we
Right.
don't want this to happen. We should try and change shit. And other people are like, no. At least we know what happens.
Mm.
So maybe with our hands on the wheel, at least we can like try and steer a little bit. But it's better than the complete unknown, which would happen if we try to change shit. It's just like, 'cause what happens if we try? Like, they talk about it in Union Cross. If you change things, does the book change as well? And it's like, I think the conclusion seems to be like, well, no, because pen was on paper at the time. At the point of time at which the book was written, this is what the future looked like. If we make any changes, the book shouldn't, again, this is how I interpret it, the book
Right.
shouldn't change but the future itself will change, is what I took from that. And maybe I'm wrong.
I think this is, I guess, right. You always get so many different ideas and theories with time travel. My perception of it, or my interpretation of it, would be the observer is watching the future unfold, regardless of anybody's decisions. Like, they're just observing what's happening and writing it down,
Right.
regardless of if you have that information. He's already witnessed the future. Like,
It's a predestination thing, right?
yeah. Well, because
It's
at the
like-
end, right, Sora breaks through to an
Yes.
alternate timeline. So,
Yes. Which is now beyond whatever in theory, it's beyond the scope of the book regardless.
yeah, exactly.
So
But
it's
is it like, is that Sora's ability to do that? Or, well, Sora's like ordinary, right? Nomura keeps, harping on that ordinary aspect. But it's like, can other people? Well, I assume the Dandelions did a similar thing, right?
Well, I mean, it was the whole like taboo of nature that got him banished, right?
Yeah.
Like he wasn't
Oh,
supposed
I
to
see.
do that.
Yeah.
So, like,
But even
in
then,
theory,
like, Ansem's taboo of nature was also supposedly written down. So,
which one? The like creation of the Heartless in general, like which? Oh, wait, you mean?
whatever he did in his like time travel
Right.
stuff, like messing with the future. That's what I gathered from that.
But it seemed to play along with the rules because he like, I feel like the rules get like kind of misinterpreted, where it's like you can only travel back to a point in which a previous version of you existed. To me, it's more like anti-paradox stuff. It's like you can only go to a place where you already existed because of the predestination thing. You were always going to time travel back to that spot anyway. Like you can't go to somewhere you
I
weren't
see.
because
Yeah.
you were only there because you time traveled there in the first place. You know what I mean? It's like
But now, okay.
the time
yeah.
travel locks in with itself. Like if you were there and you time traveled to get there, you always time traveled to get there. You're only there because you
Yeah.
time traveled. You know what I mean? Like it sort of like closes its own loop.
Well, I think no, it's more like you existed at that point. Oh, I see what you're saying.
There's two different.
Yeah, because
You know
there's
what
the
I mean?
Maleficent that's like Data, right? And she comes and possesses herself, right?
More or less, yeah.
So it's like you're not really creating yourself. Like with Sora, right? Like the reason I'm guessing is he like jumped out and fought Terranort when he didn't have his body there,
Yeah.
right? Like that was like breaking that rule because he shouldn't have been able to do that.
Yeah. It's almost like the projection thing, right? Though it's like, was he just projecting himself out of lingering will at that point? Like,
But he was tangible, right? He did the whole
Yeah.
thing with trying to catch Ven, and he couldn't. He wasn't tangible.
Right. But it's a little bit tricky.
It's tough, yeah. Because then you also have him possessing Roxas, right?
To me, the act is like things literally went differently though. Like in one universe, a tornado wiped everyone out. In another one, it didn't. Right? Like something like absolutely changed as a result of him going back.
I see what you're saying.
Right? Like
yeah.
the loop. It cannot. They can't both exist. Like either a tornado kills everyone or it doesn't. Like something definitely changed there.
Right.
And yeah, again, like part of that is probably the Terranort fight. Like obviously that didn't happen the first time around.
Well, it would have had to, right?
The first time Donald is the one that like blasts
Oh,
him.
you're right.
The second time is Lingering Will that blasts him with Ultima.
Yeah, that's right.
So, yeah.
So he did cause a change. Was that the change then?
I mean, part of it is that he goes back in time and gets like Naminé again to bring him back. Naminé is one of the ones that helps. Like, as he contacts her in the final world after dying, right? So he dies, final world, contacts Naminé, cannot do that whilst being alive, Then on the redo, it's like Namine's intervention that kind of like awakens Terra to
Yeah.
get Terra to intervene, which is basically the reason they didn't get blipped the second time, is because Lingering Will intervenes. Everything else kind of lines up with itself. Like,
Which again, why is she able to even do that? Anyways.
I guess connection with memory, something, looking at a heart, something. I think
Yeah, I mean,
it's one of the pieces. Yeah. It's the piece of lore that was like in the concert only, right? And I don't know if I haven't really seen it in a while, but there was that.
Oh, that's right.
Was it?
Oh, I totally forgot about that.
Or a different concert? But there's that conversation that they have.
Trace, yeah, because we went to see that one, and I don't remember that playing during that. Bit,
yeah, I don't know if it was even in English, if it was only Japan only. I no idea. I'm way out of my element on this one. I've seen the translation, but a long time ago. But yeah, like Namine gets Terra's Lingering Will's help, blah 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 blah. It saves him the second time around. Because apart from that, it seemed like it was going the same way. Like it was basically just like the Keyblade clash. But apart from that, like everyone still got kind of hit in the same way.
Yes, right. Because even after that point, right? Like the battle, like all those battles are like Sora possessing them, or like being like that. It doesn't change the events, even though he went back in time.
Yeah.
Right. But that first time he came back from the final world, it's like, okay, now things are actually different. But then, yeah, because young Xehanort's like, oh, I see you've messed with time.
Also walked the forbidden path.
Yeah.
That's, Terra.
And that's before Remind. Right? Yeah. And then
anyway, so the
all
taboo
this
happens.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go on.
I'll just say, like, this all happens, like Sora jumping out, in theory would have happened at the same time because he's time traveling. It's like, right, like him doing this would actually be what happened originally. We just wouldn't have seen it.
Correct. Yes, 100% correct. Yeah, that's where you see it best in the Roxas scene later on, where it's like, I definitely didn't catch it the first time around, but so we can find it.
Where he's standing behind him, right, with the dual blades.
Right, but it like, because I was like, but that's different. Like that didn't happen the first time around, and it's like, oh wait, yes it did, but Sora was like knocked out for it.
Exactly. Yeah.
The first time around, like you didn't really see it, but you can infer like, oh okay, he was on the ground.
Yeah. Everyone was always like, oh, they had to add a scene in, and I was like, I can see where they're coming from to make like Kairi look, less helpless, but it's like, I think they also kind of like crafted it really well so that they could, interject that time travel aspect of it.
Yeah.
Because, right. Or does this happen before?
It's right before this. So, because basically, like Sora gets like bonked on the noggin, and it's like on the ground, and then the quote unquote new stuff happens, and then he like wakes back up again in exactly the same stance that he was in like the original. Yeah, there he is. So like I think right before that, it's basically like when, God, this is terrible.
That's right.
We need a producer.
we should get a producer.
He just has intimate knowledge of Kingdom Hearts cutscenes, but also my terrible directory and way of accessing them. I can anyway, we'll let this sort of run. But anyway, yeah, the overall point is that the end of the book ends in this like taboo Terror of Time thing, right? And whether anyone else can do it or not, Sora definitely did. So like you have two timelines. One where like presumably after they get all murdered, like Xehanort wins, right? Like he's got his Kingdom Hearts. Like in that universe timeline, he probably did achieve that goal and destroyed everything and made a new reality like with the Keyblade. But then there's this other, I don't know, it's like from the Master's point of view, like do you want that to, like, are you curious enough that you want that to happen? Like, do you want to see what happens if a world is created entirely like anew?
Well, see, we've talked about this before, but the notion of Sora being expelled, right, to Quadratum, and then we see like, another hooded figure above him, which we, is the Master of Masters. But it's like they all interceded with time, or they like tried to change the future. Right. And then even with like Ava disappearing, like do we really think her last conversation with Lucy, where she's like, I want this, I don't want this outcome, right? She's like, it kind of, from my perspective, infers that she also tried to change things and she was like excommunicated. Even the Masters, like one day he just disappears, and it's like,
Yeah.
we're told it's like a voluntary thing, but it's like it could have just been like Sora. Like they could have all just done these things and then just been like
Banished
removed.
because of it. Yeah.
Yeah. The only one that I think is kind of counter to that argument is with Ansem, right? If young Xehanort's saying, "Oh, you two have also done the forbidden thing," but Xehanort or whatever, young Xehanort, if he hasn't been banished, then that kind of goes against that argument, right? Because he should have been also banished.
It's tricky. Again, that's why I think like everything he does seems to like play along with the rules, but then they throw these couple of lines at you of like, oh, I'm also cheating here, like, but and then like why hasn't been we see Sora's punishment for it? Why don't we see? So, and maybe we do. Like we've seen that. You've seen that Dark Road tweet of young Xehanort in what is presumed to be Quadratum, and you can like literally line it up with that park in Japan. It's like, okay, well,
wait, what? I don't remember that. I must have missed that. Oh, no. The illustration.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And again, we need the producer to pull this up rather than.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but well, another point to like young Xehanort being aware of this phenomenon is like in his last discussion, or his last like like kind of whiny fit when Sora defeats him. He's like, your time in this world is over. It's like, how does he know that? Unless he's either experienced it or seen someone that's experienced it, right? Like, I don't feel like there's any way he should know that.
Yeah.
And he's so certain, and he's so mad. It's when like they're doing the fight.
I know it's later on, yeah,
well.
but like, he gives the warning now. It's like, no, there's no saving you, and he like gallivanting again through the because you abuse the power of waking. Like that's he is saying you abuse the power of waking. That's why you're going to get punished for it. Like maybe he did it differently, but Sora did it wrong. No matter what happens, Sora did it wrong to get his friends back.
Right.
Like he went around
I think that's. Is he talking about this part or when he like opens the keyholes of the universe to get them back?
Well, I mean, at this point he's already done it, right? Like by that point he's already done it.
Right. But that's like, when does the punishment get exacted, right?
Yeah, I see your point. Like, I mean, Xehanort could be wrong, but
because like
Xehanort,
at this point,
like
right, he should have
telling us that.
Yeah.
That is the punishment. But yeah, I could take your point though that it just because Xehanort's saying it doesn't necessarily mean that it's true, but what they are saying to us is that you did the power of waking wrong, and that's what it is. Like we flow through the worlds, right, and from each one of them pick up a little heart as we're like chasing the lich around.
Yeah.
Whereas like if we did it properly, which is what they do in Remind, they do it quote unquote properly. They like go through the different hearts to reach the ultimate goal of Kairi's heart, getting it back.
Counterpoint. Sorry, not to, but while we are like diving into the worlds and the darkness with Jiminy, when we're traversing worlds, I think it would make more sense. Do you have the Remind one where he's like opening the keyholes and stuff? So yes, while he like this could be potentially what he's referring to. I think he's because when you do, what's this?
I don't know.
Where I think is it before this? After this? After this.
It'll be after this, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, here, right? Or I guess a little bit after this. But right, all these keyholes, right? Wouldn't this make sense? Because Sora does the whole pose.
Oh yeah.
In Cage 2 when he's like locking the keyholes of all the worlds. Yep. That to me insinuates that these are all different worlds key holes, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah. So him doing this is what actually triggers the punishment, because like this is like you are linking worlds in ways you shouldn't be, or you're like linking, you're doing like this is highly irregular, right?
It's
Like,
an ultimate worlds to reach hearts. Like he's already been
yeah,
told once, don't, and he's like, huh?
yeah, and this is just like the next level of that. I feel like, and then he
Yeah,
like
it's like linking
is
like
able to find somehow, like he's traversing all these different keyholes, which I think even at the end he does his little pose in KH2 when he's locking keyholes when he unlocks Kyrie's world.
when he ultimately
But it's
gets
like,
Kyrie's heart back. Yeah,
yeah, like it's the same animation, same sky, same floor, like all the same stuff.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so I feel like this is like, yeah, they're trapped in. I don't really know what this would be. Actually, I wonder if this is the astral plane. Look at all those like constellations.
I mean, we're literally in a bunch of stars. Yeah,
Yeah,
like we are in astrology.
yeah, that
Yeah,
that would be interesting. But
sure.
yeah, so anyway,
Like, is this
um,
how? Yeah, is this more or less what? Like, let's say all the drifters. Sorry, hang on. Hmm.
the
So the
grifters.
shooting, the shooting star point you mentioned earlier, like that kind of looks
Oh,
like a bunch
no,
of shooting.
that's the scene. That's the scene I was talking about.
That's
Those
kind of
look
looks
like
like it,
shooting
right?
stars, right?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think you're definitely onto something here. It's like they've
because
almost
then
been
it's
like
right after
extracted out of the
this.
astral plane, brought
No, because
back.
so. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay.
He
And
does
then
it.
another
Yeah, yeah.
point. At right after the scene, they go to the final world, right? A little bit, right? They had
Uh,
the fight first, I think, with
we had
Xehanort,
the
right?
Xehanort fight first. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit rocky, but Sora, I don't think ever comes back after that point. No, he does, right? He leads Kyrie back. Yeah, it's a little bit shaky, but I think this is the taboo. Like I think this is the
I could say it.
yeah,
Yeah. Again,
especially with
from
all the astrology and stuff. Like
sure.
totally. Anyways, yeah,
No, no, I could buy it. Again, like we're only really taking it off Xehanort's word that that's the reason why he's getting punished here. But like,
yeah.
I mean, Shirthi kind of says it as well. But
I think they all insinuate like I don't think anybody really knows, right? If say or
if
if
no one's done it before, then you wouldn't. Yeah, you would just know. Don't
right,
do this.
but like young Xehanort has some inkling, so he has to have some knowledge on it.
Yeah,
I love this scene; it's so good.
that's awesome. Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah.
But see, it's almost like
Anyways,
so like
my long
from
tangent.
because there's the two hearts in the background of this fight, right?
The two
There's
hearts.
the yeah, well, two moons rather. There's like a moon and then the Kingdom Hearts moon from memory.
Oh, okay.
Do I have any gameplay for the shit? I
Ah,
do. Hell yeah!
yeah.
Which me get my shit kicked in.
yeah,
It's my first time playing as her. I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah. Please work. I love that line, dude.
I hope I spin the camera around and actually see the two moons of Madison Insane. Maybe it's
There's all
later
the
on in the
Scala
fight.
language you can see 1, 2, 3, all the way to 12. Or
Yes.
is that
Yeah.
13?
Those numbers hold water. Yeah, they are accurate.
Oh,
Why
interesting.
am I moving? Am I trying to die or something? Maybe I don't want to play as Kyrie. Maybe this is my second playthrough. I was doing the pro codes route.
Oh, I see, I see.
I forgot.
I don't see any other
I think the
moon
moon comes
though.
in like it's when he does his special move. Like
Oh,
summons like
okay.
another moon basically with all the keyholes that open up and shoot meteors.
Oh, even then, right? Like he opens up more doorways. Or
Okay, I'm
whatever,
doing
I
pro code stuff.
don't know.
Oh, no, I died. Anyway,
13? You have 13 barcodes on. That's crazy.
I think that's what was the point. I was trying to get like do the challenge, whatever.
Oh,
This
that's
is
right.
a trophy for like beating it with not the entire run, but like X amount of
A lot of the
pro
run.
codes on
Yeah.
during the run. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It's
God, I'll be here all day.
Oh man. Oh, here it is. There it is. Oh, that was it.
Two
There it
moons.
is.
Yeah.
There it
It'll
is.
be okay. It'll be after this anyway.
So
There you
this, okay, so then this would be him pulling out. Oh,
go.
no,
You're
that's
destroying
totally.
other worlds.
Yeah,
There you go.
that's crazy. Yeah, those
That's
are
like a
all
normal
worlds.
moon, right? Not a heart
No,
moon.
those are worlds, right? I would argue
Sure
those
looks
are
that way.
worlds.
Yeah, but I said
And they're
the
and literally if you
actual
go
moon in the
back.
background. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Actually, interesting. Yeah, if you like go forward just a little bit, because right, this looks very like weird. Oh, and there's even a moon behind him. It comes up
Yeah.
behind him out of that keyhole
It almost
or the
seems
world or whatever.
behind the keyhole, but yeah.
Yeah. But see, if you pause it there, you can see the same.
Astral stuff on the inside. Yeah,
Well, the same
absolutely.
when like Sword does this little spinny move thing. Yeah,
Totally. Yeah.
that's the
Uh,
same. That's crazy. Okay, interesting.
yeah. Yeah, this fight's sick. And I think, yeah, the more we know about the astral plane, I definitely think this is going to come into relevance.
Hmm.
Like,
Definitely.
there's no names like sacrifice all these worlds just for an attack that he can like throw a potion and block. He's like, oh, that it's funny.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I've never really. I need to go back and analyze this fight because it's like, what is happening? What? Why? Sacrificing all these worlds to like, I don't know. I guess save your Kingdom Hearts or something.
Um, I don't know if this like kind of goes with my theory or not again, but it's like almost like connecting the real and unreal there, right? 'Cause it's like there's a real legitimate moon. We're
Mm-hmm.
at 31107, right?
31107.
Just for
Okay.
the time I was at in this video.
Boom, boom,
But then
boom, boom.
it's this like it's basically the same moon, right? So it's almost like linking those two worlds because at the Kingdom Hearts moment at that point in time, the moon looked it was corrupted, like Xehanort had corrupted Kingdom Hearts, right?
Uh huh.
But this moon, it's to your point, like if the astral dimension is what like links reality and unreality, then
I see. Yeah, yeah.
we've literally we're on the like there's two moons kind of looking at each other in that moment, and like one is this one's moon and one's the other one's moon.
Oh, and you're saying he flips it, or like accesses
Well, yeah,
the other
that's
side.
like
Ah,
if the portal between is the astral dimension, which that's what it looks like, right? Like the
yeah.
summoning, he opens the keyholes to the same place in theory that Sora just got all of the hearts from, yanks all those worlds to throw at Sora through the astral
Mm-hmm.
dimension. That would be the linking point. I don't know, but
No, that's very interesting.
even if it's
One
not like what is
thing,
literally happening, it seems like metaphorically.
yeah. What are your thoughts on this? This is very tangential. Yeah. Okay. Let me see this heart, right? Because I think, right. Okay. If you go back, actually, can we watch the animation again? Sorry.
No,
Now
no,
I'm like
you're good.
directing you.
You're good.
But if you notice, right, every time one of these appear, right,
Mm.
something comes out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we're looking at this, it's like blue, then it turns red, right? But right, we don't see anything come out of this keyhole,
Mm.
but we do see something like emerging from behind, right? So what if the moon comes out from behind him, right?
Mm.
Like I can see how like the effect looks like it's kind of just spawning in, but like it would make more sense that that moon would come out of that keyhole from behind him.
I could see that. Yeah. Yeah. No, I
Or
agree. I think
I
I agree
say
with that. Yeah.
moon, but
No, I agree with that.
I guess it would be a moon. I mean, they kind of do look like moons. And then does he like send down that big moon at the end? I don't remember.
No, I think that stays for the rest of the fight. So you've
Oh,
got corrupted Kingdom Hearts on that. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, okay, I guess I'm wrong. But every time he does that attack, I guess it comes back. I mean, I don't know. I have to look at it properly when I'm not being like attacked.
oh wait, yeah, no, it's out there on the right, and then it finally comes down. I think it's the last one. Yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, I need to watch that because I'd be curious.
I
Oh
wonder if I have a
wait,
save file.
they're all like shooting out the asteroids. Yeah, I need to go in no clip mode and like
Sure.
see what that animation is doing. Oh, they okay, now they come back down. Okay. Interesting, interesting. When the giant meter's raining down, make sure to okay. It's like, is there any lore there? Oh
If you
man.
pause closely, you'll see the Master Master's laughing at you for trying to.
Oh, man.
Let's go again. I've
So
probably done it
yeah,
a few more
back to the
times, but
tangent. The whole like voice thing, that's always stuck with me because it's such an interesting. I mean, obviously, I'm sure they did it so they didn't have to voice Sora. Well, actually, yeah, I don't know if they had Haley Joel Osment do any new lines in that game.
I think they're all repeats from previous games. You talking about Melody Memory right now?
Yeah, yeah. But they're like,
Word.
oh, your voice can't reach us here. It's like I
Look
wonder.
who's joined us. As I thought, your voice can't reach us. Yeah.
Yeah, that's always been, I don't know, such a weird thing to note. I'm really curious to see more about
Yeah.
that.
To me, it's, and I know I just censored you for this, but here goes again. to me, it's more of my bullshit about like creators being able to influence from like one side of a piece of fiction, and like it's not a two-way
Oh, I
street.
see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like the character can't provide a voice. Like they are always spoken for. Right? There you go.
Yeah, I
Nice
see
little
what you're
convenient
saying.
flyover as this is happening.
Nice.
Turn back
Oh,
around.
we're
Do I see the
short
blue
now.
big moon? Ah, dang it. Look up
I
past me
think.
from. Yeah, I do. Okay,
Yeah,
cool,
it
cool,
is. It
cool.
is. Okay.
Is that the final moon, or is that just stay there for the rest of the fight?
I don't know. Yeah,
If
it's
you
like
worth having a
these
look at
things are
this,
still spawning these things. And then what
look up.
happens?
Come on, look off your asshole. Past me.
Well, it does
It
look
still
like
looks
they
like. I mean,
just
I
keep.
see moonlight at the top there. It still looks like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
there.
yeah. And on the other planets are still around the arena as well.
Yeah, and they call them
I didn't
meteors.
realize. I just kind of assumed that they stopped firing after a while, but it looks like they.
I think at the ultimate, yeah, there's the moon. You could. I saw it briefly just now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
definitely
thought it
something.
lasted the rest of the fight, but I guess in the in the chaos of it all, I haven't really paid that much attention. Maybe I
Yeah.
was just like, oh yeah, yeah, no, it's still there. I'm assuming this
Trust
meteor
me.
attack will eventually end.
Okay, and then it ends, and then do we
Well,
get
there was still
another
three
look?
behind me from memory.
I think they just
Anyway,
disappeared.
no, that's
Wait,
still
but
there.
oh, there is. Oh,
Yeah, how many? Five.
and then Moon's still up there in
Hilarious
the
if
top
there's
right.
13. I should, yeah, I should like go
Oh,
in
there has
easy
to be
mode on this.
13.
Has to be 13, right?
But I'm wondering if the last moon behind him is the 13th. Oh, two,
That's,
4, 5, 2.
okay.
We're gonna be counting moons. There's definitely at least 4 on this side. 5. Oh, okay, 6.
Four
Yeah,
there.
6 on one side,
Probably,
6 on the other side.
probably,
Now, if you
yeah.
go back a little bit, sorry,
Oh, damn it.
isn't that a little bit forward?
One, two, three.
Right. So
Yeah,
there's
so up
one,
the
two,
top
three,
left.
right? And then you'll see in the next couple frames, one in the bottom left and one in the top left.
Yes.
Oh, so that's only 5 though.
We'll just clip it. I'm sure, like, if we'll do some homework,
Sure.
we'll go
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
play it,
Sorry. Yeah.
or at least just like look up.
Oh, wait, can you just
Yeah,
press play again? What really quick?
sure.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, yeah. And then there's one on the far left,
And we know there's more like
and
up the
there's
top.
2 at the
Yeah.
top. So there's 6 on one
There's
side.
already 4 in the bottom corner, like bottom left corner. So you could
Yeah.
extrapolate that out and say maybe 3 more. Yeah.
So I think there's 6 on each side, or you can see it there actually, all 6 of them. And then so 6 on one side, 6 on the other side, and then the big moon in the middle.
Would be the 13th. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Interesting. Okay.
I wonder if your brother talked about this in his breakdown video, because I'm sure he did a
Huh.
breakdown on this fight.
Yeah, I think you did actually.
Oh, okay. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there you go.
There's a lot happening.
There was another one off to,
3,
anyway,
and then,
to the
yeah.
right, but anyway,
Nice.
yeah, symbolism. But
Mm-mm.
um,
I think we're losing the plot a little bit.
so they're in Scarlet, right? So Brain arrives in Scarlet. Yeah, all I was thinking was that, just even based on the Union Cross ending,
Mm.
Your brain can already run wild and think like, okay, what a world descended from FMO who holds a Keyblade and a book might look like.
Mm-hmm.
And what like he might want to leave behind as his legacy. Again, like if he can't be there to personally see Brain's arrival, he would want to make sure that like people were there to take care of him when he did arrive.
Yeah.
So he would send people like loyal to him, like let's say Sigurd is loyal to what FMO wanted, but then the counter to that would be like, are there people that aren't loyal to it? And again, is FMO someone that wants to keep in accordance with the book, because like he's already made Scala, that's what the book said. Does he want to keep going with what the book says, or like would he want to switch? Would there be people that want to follow him, would want to not follow him? Like what would be the outcome? And then again, the mind does sort of wander into like, okay, well if he does want to keep in accordance with the book, that might explain one of the biggest questions that I actually had, which was
Mm-hmm.
wait, that's before.
You're a whole pint by yourself.
Tell me if I'm crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Because this was always like, I mean, obviously you press triangle to advertise the mobile game, but lore-wise, why does this happen? Let me skip forward a couple seconds here.
Come on.
Come on.
And then this is where we die, right?
No, we've already. This is the. By this point, we're
No,
already
this is.
dead in the original timeline. So in this timeline,
Oh, right. Before. All right. Yeah, 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 yeah. Come on, Donald. You set a flare.
I should go forward, but I'm just gonna let this play out anyway because
Oh,
it's
it's
cool.
just a great game. The visuals are so nice. Everything's voice acted. Man, it's so great.
So this right here, if I'm Ephema and I'm in the future and I
Past?
have the Book of Prophecies,
Oh.
could I literally provide some help? If I knew how this was supposed to go down, you see what I'm saying?
Mm. Oh, you're saying the vessel are the Keyblades?
Well, all of it. Like the fact that he's even contacting Sora here at all. It's like you hold a Book of Prophecies, you know everything that's going to happen. Like,
You need a vessel, though, right?
well, I mean, if you're directly time traveling there, sure. But
If you're doing what Sora did, I guess, then you don't need
I'm not even
that,
getting into the
right?
exact mechanics of it. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
could you like need some?
I see.
Okay,
This is stopping
if
the final pages from happening,
no,
right?
I think those have already happened. But I think if you're
Mm.
deciding, well, maybe, but if you're deciding that you want to keep things in accordance with the book, and I know I've already said that, maybe I'm flip flopping here, but I don't know. I just feel like maybe you could actually have an influence on things. That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah,
for
I see.
extrapolating from, are there people that want to keep again? Just the idea, going no further. The idea of like, are people wanting to keep with the book or without, and a whole spectrum of thought in between.
Mm-hmm.
Could there be people who actually have the ability to influence this, and that you have the ability to counter influence it? I don't know. I'm just
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, right. If just taking this one scene, right, we see actions being done that do affect from the past, the
right.
future. So the opposite could be true, is what you're saying. Could we
Like
see
Ben literally
somebody?
says, "It's the light from the past." Yeah,
Yeah. So could, some other, figure or something, someone with the Book of Prophecies come and like alter the future for the
yeah,
for the bad. Is that what you're getting at?
yeah. I mean, like Ephema seems to know about Sora and know that in this moment he will need some help if outcome is to be achieved. Blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
he sends help, right? And is it that he sends help because he couldn't do it on it? Like, I mean, ultimately, I always felt so deflated that this stupid moment comes up because I'm like, we just take care of this massive friggin' like wave of darkness. Like, yeah, we beat it. We beat Terranaut. We beat the wave of darkness. Yeah, everything's awesome,
Mm.
but doesn't seem to do shit. Like, well, sorry, other way around. Beat Terranaut, and then just here comes a million Heartless. Like, here you go. It just felt like narratively unsatisfying. It's like this should have been wrapped up together to me. It should have
Mm.
been. I don't know. I just didn't love it when I played it in the moment, but I'm like, man, that would have such a crazy payoff if it was like, yeah, no, you did beat Terranaut, but then someone sent darkness from the past, and it was like counterbalance because someone sent more light
Ah,
from the past.
I
You know what I mean?
see.
Light
Yeah, yeah,
wins.
yeah,
Ultimately, light wins here. So if you were like, I
yeah,
don't want that to happen, you'd be like, oh, fuck it, just send a massive tornado of darkness. It worked last time. It killed him last time. And you're like, no,
yeah.
no, no. I'm going to counter you. I'm going to send light after you to follow you. And then I go even stupider from that, where I'm like, Ephema has clearly heard of Sora. He's read the book. He's heard of Sora, right?
Mm.
So what if? Now stay with me on this one. If you're barely with me,
I'm holding on.
stay with me here. Would
I've
now
heard of
stay
you.
with me here.
Oh, okay. I see
If
where you're
Ephemera
going.
has heard, now I'm really reaching here. If Ephemera has heard of Sora and is somehow able to like help him from the past, is that what a guy like Yozora does? Does he go and help? Is he, I've heard of you? Because yeah, I have heard of you. Like
Mm.
I've I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm really going insane here, but like, this is what I don't know.
It's no. What's interesting? Okay, no. Hold on. Let's hold on to this thought, right?
And it's
Because
about to
in the
become
next, oh, go back.
Oh yeah, go on. I was like, it's about to
Oh,
become
go
his
ahead.
dive to
Go
the
ahead.
heart, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, but so when
Let's
does
play
he
it.
say? How do you know that I'm? Yeah, you can just play it. Because right, if right, we have. Okay, let's just go through the three things maybe that we found. Sora is traveling through his body to different parts, you know, and then he's traveling through um like a non what's the word, a non corporeal form. He's traveling in an astral projection, right? His blue form with his outline, right? Is that fair to say?
Sorry, I might have got lost in the cutscene there. I might have
No, you're
missed it.
good.
Sorry, I
Okay,
apologize.
so
I
yeah,
deeply
this scene.
apologize.
No, you're good. Okay, so I was saying, let's follow like the three forms that Sora, like, travels. So he has his
Okay.
first form, right? He's traveling inside of his body in the past, which is how Maleficent's done it, other people. Then you have his astral form, right? He's jumping out of his body in that like blue outline, right?
Okay.
Does that track? I mean,
Yeah. Okay.
pretty
I'm with you.
astral to me. Astral projection. Yeah. So then you have
Uh.
this.
Okay. I'll go with you. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'd love to hear your counter. Yeah. Um, right, you have Sora's astral projection, so he's now manifesting himself in a non-physical way, and we kind of see that with Ephemer, right? Like he's projecting himself, maybe, who knows? But
Mm.
that kind of looks like he's projecting himself. And then we have Sora like controlling. I don't know if it's Roxas. I feel like it's Roxas, but like right, Sora is now like in someone else's body controlling them. So what if, right? There's we see those three forms in Cage 3. What if, right, this person's like, oh, this isn't what I look like, right? Because he's now, what you're saying, he's from either the past or the present or the future, or, some other whatever.
Mm.
But he's like controlling Yozora.
Hopping on in. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure. Yeah.
yeah.
Because no matter what, the body looks like that. Well, we can infer that the body looks like
There's a
that,
lot of, yeah,
but Yozora, the person, does not. And
yeah.
you could even go further. Go the two eye colors could represent exactly what you're talking about. Like he's
Mm,
sharing the host with someone
right.
else potentially. But
Like it's a stretch. It's a total stretch, but like,
sure. But that's we're going. We're already
potentially
down the rabbit hole
there's,
here. So
yeah. Right.
sure.
But again, what you were
Um.
saying, if this from Scarlet Kaim or somewhere else, where he would have heard of him but not ever seen him, like Ephemir, and he's coming to like intercede or I don't know what his role is yet, but yeah.
I mean,
Hmm.
like
So yeah,
if Sora goes beyond here and does something he isn't supposed to do, you would want to stop him, right?
oh yeah.
Right? You would try and stop him.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's
That's the part.
yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot about that part because it's like, okay, but now does he think Sora looks different?
Right.
Like his perception of Sora would be different. Yeah, it's a whole bunch of
Yeah.
yeah
It's I don't know. It's fun. It's definitely fun to think about.
hodgepodge. Yeah.
All right. We
You
have
said something about the astral plane or something like the Sora's like blue form.
well,
Curious
yeah,
what you-
only that it's like it should be the heart going backwards, right? And that we've seen since like KH1 that
Mm.
a heart can exist outside of the actual body. Like Riku standing there holding Ansem back, it's technically at that point is projecting himself out of the actual body. And like I kind of talked about it in the most recent video, but like we've seen glowing person usually means they're existing outside of their body, like they're
Yep.
projecting themselves, but not necessarily astrally. Like they're able to
Would you not?
hold on to some sort of corporeal form, even if they're
Right.
not just holding on. Like Ahoda sits inside of Xehanort's heart for a minute and just hangs out. She's definitely not like time traveling or anything. She's just like choosing to exist a bit longer. Ericus does
Yeah.
it with Terra, but I'm not.
But yeah. I would argue that's so. Yeah, I would say astral projection doesn't equate with time travel, but I feel
Sure.
like you could point to all those things that you were mentioning about like Riku holding back Ansem, Sora jumping out of his body. Like I would classify that as astral projection.
Okay.
Which would tie into Missing Link somehow, some way.
Yeah,
But
I mean, like if they want to recategorize or like or like clarify it and say like, oh,
Yeah.
that's what they've been doing the whole time. I'm down with it. I don't have a problem with it. I think we should maybe table this though, because we're already over 2 hours, and this is going to be a short one.
Right. This is our short episode.
Took some detours, but this is very good fun. I guess we'll see what happens in a few days. Maybe we'll come back and best case scenario talk about the amazing reveals we've just seen and all the cool stuff. That's best case scenario, but
best case scenario, we'll be talking about Missing Link. Yeah, me too.
I love jamming, talking Kingdom Hearts lore. It's very fun. We should at some point just do that. We'll get some questions. If people in the chat like have questions, like please, like let us. I don't know. I love running wild on these tangents with you, so I'd love to just do an episode just about that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think I have like 52 questions.
Sure. This is how this pod started, right? We would do this with each other. We just lore, and then
literally, like hours, and be like, we should record this.
Right. We finished. We're like, it's now completely left my brain, and we talked about it to each other, and now neither of us can remember what the hell we just said for the last 4 hours, but we talked about Kingdom Hearts lore. So yeah. All right. Thank you guys so very much for watching. We really do appreciate it. Hopefully, we'll try and keep this up on a pretty regular schedule, because it's been fun.
We're both very busy boys, though.
Yes, and time zones are always a challenge, and they're going to get worse when I go back to America in a month. But we'll figure it out. Yeah. But yeah, man, I will see you in person at Reconnect. But we'll talk to you several more times before that. But yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Trailer confirmed. All right. See you guys. Bye.
And then I press the stop button.